Yo, what's the deal, baby? This is your boy, Uncle Luke, and this is a Loudspeaker Network production.
Get ready for combat. No escaping. Get ready for combat. Get ready for combat. Yeah. The Combat Jack Radio Show. Stand up.
Internets, this portion of the Combat Jack Show is brought to you by Bevel, the superior shaving system known to man. Bevel has been designed for people with coarse, curly hair. It guarantees minimum shave bumps, skin abrasion, razor bumps, or whatever you call it. Listen, go to getbevel.com, GETBEVEL.com. Punch in the promo code COMBAT, COMBAT, that's me, for 20% off all of your goods. I shave like a boss. Your peoples across the street shave like a boss. Your girl fucks with everybody that shaves like a boss, so you need to shave like a boss. Go to getbevel.com, promo code COMBAT, COMBAT. And now back to the show. Internets, you are tuned into the Combat Jack Show, thecombatjackshow.com. What's up, A-King?
What's good, sir?
Yo, man, we got you standing here for Premium Pete until he gets here.
Where you at, Pete?
No, he's on his way.
Still on that yacht.
Yo, listen, internets, man, I'm really honored. You know, I guess I say that every week, man, because we just have some incredible guests that keep dropping by and sharing their magnificent, legendary histories, man. But this one right here, I wasn't expecting this. So when I got the call, I made sure that I studied everything about this man's history. He just wrote a book that's now out. It's now out in stores. It's called The Book of Luke, My Fight for Truth, Justice, and Liberty City. Into this, let's welcome to the Combat Jack Show, Mr. Luther Campbell. Uncle Luke, what's up, sir?
Hey, man, what's happening?
Yo, man, welcome to the Combat Jack Show.
I appreciate being here.
Man, this is such an honor. You know, I read the book.
Oh.
I read the entire book from cover to cover, and it's very well written, man. It captures the emotions that you went through.
Okay, good. You read the book.
I read the book. No, I'm saying, like, one of the things that I'm really impressed about is just how astute you've always been politically, you know, about like race relations and the whole nine. And I guess your uncle taught you about that, you know, growing up. Was it Uncle Ricky?
Uncle Ricky, yeah,
man.
Yeah.
So let's walk through your history with the internets. And internets, you definitely have to pick up this book because a lot of this material is in the book. Don't feel that you're getting everything because it's not everything. It's just some of the high points. Now, Luke, you know, you were born in Miami Beach, on Miami Beach.
Yeah. Which
is kind of rare for a person of color to be born in Miami Beach at the time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, during those times in the 60s, black folks couldn't be on the beach. You know, you had to be off the beach at 6 o'clock. Only thing that was happening at that period of time was, you know, people just working on the beach, you know, the maids and things like that.
It was crazy segregated like that.
It was bad.
Right.
I mean, it was bad. You know, people run down to South Beach right now, don't know the history of what was going on. But I guess when they start reading this book, they're gonna be like, whoa.
What made your family or you so special that you were able to be born on Miami Beach?
Well, that's the hidden question that's in the book. You know, I said in there that I don't know how that actually happened. Right. I thought they was doing some kind of experiment. You know, I never got to, God bless my mom's soul, I never got to ask her, hey, how did that happen? I got to go over there and talk to my old man. Like, how did I end up getting born? You know, everybody else was born at Jackson Memorial Hospital, right. And here me, I'm at Mount Sinai, where mom,
which is where all the white people were born.
Yeah, all the white people, all the white Jewish people were born at Mount Sinai, and all the black people was born at Jackson, you know, which was the public hospital for everybody.
You go into detail, man. One of the things that I really was pleased about is you go into detail just about the history of Miami, like Overton, and like just how, you know, you had during segregation, you had thriving black communities.
Yes.
And once, you know, Miami started to, I guess, once they realized that the real estate was valuable, they just ran the black people out or destroyed the communities.
Yeah. I mean, people don't even realize islands like, you know, like the Watson Islands and different islands over there where people from Will Smith and all these different Oprah Winfrey owned homes there. You know, African Americans used to own those islands
Back then.
Yeah, back then, and
In the 40s, the 50s,
in the
the 60s.
40s and the 50s,
Right.
Dawson owned a couple islands out there, and I talk about that in the book. That you know, African Americans were well off because the Black Bahamians had came over, and we really built Miami. And what ended up happening, it was really predominantly black town. And some of the white guys, they decided, hey, look, we need to go and get some white folks from Georgia. So they brought in a lot of white police officers from Georgia, and then they came and did what they were doing up in Georgia and putting their values onto the black folks, which was, that's when all the riots and things started happening, and the transformation came. And then, at that same time, during that transformation, the white folks said, hey, look, we need some more people look like us. And that's when they went and got the Cubans, the white Cubans from
in the 80s,
Cuba.
like from the political refugees or the cats from Castro's regime.
Exactly.
Right.
They were actually from Batista.
Okay, from Batista. Earlier.
Batista was the president of Cuba before Castro overtook him.
Right.
And all those folks were, the white Cubans, which then ended up in the Mariel boat lift, and they all came over to Miami because, hey, look, in order to keep control, it was just too many blacks in Miami. It was looking like Atlanta or something like that, and they had to get the numbers right. And before you know it, throughout years, they start gradually taking Miami away from African Americans, even till right now, which Overtown is probably. Between Overtown and Liberty City, they're pretty much the only historical black neighborhoods, and it's a major fight going on right now with city government that these same type of people are trying to come in and take those predominantly African American historical areas.
Tell us, you talk highly about your Uncle Ricky. Tell us about him, man, and some of the things that he taught you at an early age. Yeah,
Uncle Ricky, and I speak about it in the book. Uncle Ricky was, which was the greatest guy you could ever meet. I mean, he was politically motivated. I mean, he was a contractor back then. He owned a painting company called Stirrup Painting, and one of the only few African Americans to own a contracting company where he'll be able to bid on different contracts within the city and the county. So he did that. So he experienced racism from a business standpoint, as well as he experienced racism from just being a black man, a black kid walking home, and a white woman accusing him of
whistling and being disrespectful,
exactly, rape and all that. So he would teach me. We all would go over to his house on the weekend, and just like I said in the book, he would not let you look at cartoons.
Right.
He would basically be like, "Yo, cartoons, they just want to have you focus on the wrong thing." So he would basically sit there and teach me how to read the newspaper. And then he would teach me also how to look at the news. He would tell me, stuff like hey, the news, let's sit here and look at the news.
And he broke it down like how
he broke the news down to the lowest term. I mean, he go, okay, this is how white folks work. They're gonna take this and they're gonna show you how black people are crazy people, buffoons, robbing, killing. That's going to be the top of the news. And the next part of the news is going to be what country that we want to have a war with, or we're in a war with. Back then it was the Russians and the Germans and the Japanese. And then they're going to then go from there to the weather or something like that. And after the weather, then they're going to do the sports. And then after the sports, it's going to be white people walking through the mall, holding hands and tulips, like how great it is to be white. and so I'm sitting there every weekend like a little kid, like, shit. And then he broke down the newspaper. He said, look, they're writing these stories in the newspaper. To you, it means one thing, but to white folks, it means something different. There's subliminal messages within the news that says, don't go this way right here, that you might not get. So we used to sit there and he'd make me read the whole story. What did you get out of that? And then I would say, well, I got, this is what I got. I got that the building is condemned and, the people are being moved out. Now, The building is condemned, being considered condemned because there are a few black families that moved into the building, and now it's being condemned because I'm like, oh shit.
Now, when you were learning this as a young kid, did you realize how valuable it was, or did you think Uncle Ricky was a little crazy?
Well, no, I realized how valuable it was because, once he started introducing me to H. Rap Brown and Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X and all the different, and I'm sitting there listening to Malcolm X tapes.
Right.
And I'm sitting there listening to these guys speak, and him telling me the difference between X and King and, and the different, all these. So I'm sitting there, that more so told me that he wasn't crazy.
Right.
When I started listening to all that. And then I fully understood what he was talking about as far as the news, and the cartoons being a distraction, and then, breaking down cartoons and all that. I'm like, I don't want to look at that. So I kind of understood it, and it pretty much set me up to being, the political person that I was in hip hop that people didn't think.
And as you got older, man, as we go through that turbulent period, which we call, adolescence, that's when you really started seeing, like, in terms of like the crime, in terms of like who was getting arrested, in terms of opportunities that were available to you. That's when you saw that, damn, Uncle Ricky really laid it down for me. Yeah,
no doubt about it. I mean, as I got older, I started seeing these same things that I would hear in the Malcolm tapes. The same oppression and the same committing genocide. I started
police
seeing
brutality and
police brutality. So it never left.
Right.
It was okay. Getting water hose put back on you and getting shot and getting lynched. And so then now as a kid, I'm 16 years old, and here you got the McDuffie riots, black man getting shot off a motorcycle.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to grow up into this here. And then now we're having big riots like they had before. So I'm seeing the same thing. History constantly repeating itself, and then now, remembering the corporate guy, Uncle Ricky, the contractor, and things that he had to go through as being a contractor and trying to get certain bids, and he would lose these bids, and him telling me about this, and working with him and how he was, disenfranchised. And so now when I'm going into the business aspect, I'm like, okay, I understand this. I understand everything. And so, I always tell people I was the perfect storm. I was the perfect person to mess with in hip hop.
Man, were you angry?
Was I angry?
Yeah.
Yes.
You talk about being like a thug and a goon, particularly during high school, and like how cats knew not to fuck with you, or how you had a hot temper. Were you an angry person because of these conditions?
Oh yeah. No doubt about it. I was a real angry guy. I mean, I was an angry guy, and I lived a tough life. For so many years as a kid, I was the kid that didn't smile. You know what I'm saying? I stayed. I probably had the biggest gang in Miami, one of the biggest ones. And, I was the leader of that, something I wasn't, today as a man I ain't proud of. We used to disguise it as ghetto DJs, but really we were tough guys. We did everything. You name it, from selling weed to the whole 9 yards.
But at the same time, the ghettos, you're talking about the ghetto style DJs. But at the same time, you guys really put in that work.
Yeah, we put in work.
As
DJs, yeah, no doubt about it. We put in work, from the business standpoint, to building our little company up that we had, and from building that company up to actually start buying team discos and going into, big major buildings, and then start promoting concerts, bringing down hip hop to Miami, because, nobody was bringing it down. It was one other guy that did that, but then, we pretty much took over and started bringing all those guys down.
So you're DJing at these parks.
Yeah.
You're DJing at these skating rinks.
Yep.
And you talk about the pivotal thing that changed your perspective, on top of what you learned from Uncle Ricky, was going down to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
As a teenager.
Yeah, when I got a little wild and out of control, my mom was like, okay, in order to save your life, we're gonna have to send you to D.C.
Right. You had a brother there?
Yeah, I had a brother who, he was in the military. He had just got out of the military. And he had this company called Roe Incorporated, some strategic aerospace company, You know, my brother, he's an astronaut.
Right.
He always
Like literally, like he was about to be an astronaut, except for the color of his skin.
Yeah, exactly. And I talk about in the book. They laugh at that part of the story that he called me up like, "Yo, I was supposed to be an astronaut." They just said there's no way they could put the 2 Live Crew brother in space.
Oh, it was because of you.
It was because of me. He didn't make it, but he eventually had this company in D.C. And once they moved me there, my brother's straight military.
Right.
Everything is like go to sleep on time, foil clothes, and all this, right? And so when I got there, I saw African Americans doing different things. I was like, man,
what you really hadn't seen. Like you saw like
I'd
Chocolate
never seen
City.
that. Yep.
You saw black doctors and lawyers.
Yep.
And professors and the whole nine.
Exactly. I'm seeing black people with suits on, just suits, and walking around with briefcases and riding in Mercedes and BMWs and
nice houses.
Nice houses. I'm going to neighborhoods. I mean, indoor pools and things like that. I'm like, wow. It kind of opened me up to saying, man, I'm living down here, and it's like we're really second class citizens to everybody. So once I learned that, and I talk about it in the book, once I learned, man, hey, I could be a better person. I could take this same game down here and I can be a professional. I can, own a company and do, be professional about it. So I saw things that other people and other black people in Miami did not see. And so my eyes were open from the business aspect. And that's when I went back home. I was like, Mom, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be back home. And that's when I started, with Ghetto Style. Hey, look, man, we're going to start doing business. We're going to own our own company. We're going to do this. And them dudes was looking at me like, huh?
What you talking about?
Are you tripping?
Right.
Man, what they did? Got you up there and brainwashed you? I'm like, nah, man, we're going to be entrepreneurs. We're going to own our own stuff and do all these different things with this company.
What's amazing, what's fascinating as a kid growing up in New York, I was introduced to hip hop via, the Africa Bambatas, the Cool Hercs, and the whole nine. But I was amazed to find out that you was DJing around the same time that these cats was DJing in New York. Like the Flash, like that, because we didn't even know, I didn't know anything about Miami.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we were so New York centric.
Right.
But it's fascinating that you were getting your name down there at the same time, like in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah. And it was just, us DJing, do speakers and putting them up in the park, basically the same way, doing the skate rinks, doing the high school dances and all that. I mean, and then, when hip hop started getting big, I started bringing acts down. And when I started bringing guys down, that's when People's Express. I don't know if you flew on that bad boy.
No, I don't. I heard about People's Express. Yeah. You could get on the plane and pay your ticket on the plane.
Yeah, I know half of your audience listening to this right now.
Some of them we got a devout listener that's 70 years old.
Oh, good.
What up, lady? She'll probably know about People's Express.
Yes.
What up, lady in the blue? But so you hear Rapper's Delight,
right?
And you're like, oh shit, this is going in a different direction. I'm here in Miami, but I got to get a piece of this.
Yeah.
And you start bringing acts to Miami.
Yeah.
Like the Run DMCs.
T-Lo Rock.
The first person you brought down was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Andre Harrell.
Yep.
How would it? How was a young Andre Harrell in Miami back in the day?
Oh, just like any other artist. That's why I laugh at him right now today. Man, you act like you're a corporate. You was just like any other one.
Stop playing, right?
One of these artists running around, trying to get every girl that you can get, grab any skirt that you can grab.
You talk about bringing a young Run DMC down.
Yeah.
Like before they were big.
Before they were big, I remember sitting up in it was the Howard Johnson Hotel.
Yeah.
I had brought him down and put him up at the Howard Johnson Hotel and paid him $500.
The first time.
Exactly. And they sat there and they said, man, we're going to be big. You ain't going to be able to pay us $500 no more, Luke. I'm telling you, man, we getting ready to make $1,200. I'm like, really? Man, y'all going to leave me like that? And they were like, yeah, man, we getting ready to go big. And from that point on, they went crazy big.
But what made you go from bringing acts to actually getting into the business of breaking records?
Well, one thing every act had in common, all the things that they all had in common, they all came when I brought them down and they complained about the record companies not paying them.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, Two Live Crew was no different. They came down, they complained about, you know, oh man, we're not getting paid, but
They were from L.A.
they were from LA
Right.
and they were in the Navy
They were-
at the
yeah.
time. And so, you know, no, not the Navy, but the Air Force.
The Air Force.
And, you know, they came down at the right time because I had, you know, in my DJ group, we, you know, what made us, separated us from the other DJ groups, we used to make up dances. So, you know, one of the dances we made was a ghetto jump. We would make everybody in the crowd just jump up in there and do something crazy. And then, I asked some rap guys, local guys who was doing something, hey man, make a song right here about the ghetto jump. They asked me can they make a song? I said, okay, well, the same deal applies to you that applies to everybody else that I bring down, because my deal was I get your record in the record pool, and I would then listen to it. If I found that I think that it was a hit, I would then play it for like a month and then let you know, hey, look, I'm gonna bring you down free. I'm gonna break your record down.
Right.
I'm gonna make you hot.
Right.
So then Two Live Crew was one of the groups that did that, and so these guys ended up doing the song, and then they wouldn't do a free show for me.
Right.
And I was like, okay, y'all don't want to do a free show, and so at that time, Two Live Crew had came down and did a makeup show for those guys
Okay.
there for me.
Right.
And I said, look, man, I got another record called Throw the D.
Throw the D.
Yeah, I had created a dance in the dance called Throw the D. You know, the girls would throw the P and the guys would throw the D. And then I said, I need y'all to do this song right here for me. And they did that song. And I said, okay, well, let's go, you know, to one of these local record companies and try to get a deal.
Right.
And everybody closed the door, turned out. No, we don't do no rap here. We do dance. We do Trenier. We do, you know, Debbie Deb. And we don't do that. You know, my homeboy Pretty Tony and all them. And I'm like, really? Man, y'all tripping like that?
Y'all
you
don't know that it's about the dance and it's about the bass. And,
Exactly.
And talk about the bass, man. What is the origin of the Miami bass?
It's comes from the Caribbean background that I have. I mean, your dad Jamaican, mom Bahamian.
Right.
I live in Miami. It's all up tempo. It's congas. It's tom toms.
It's the Haitians. It's the
It's
Cubans. It's the whole
the
nine.
Cubans. You know, and the music. You know, when I got with Mr. Mix, you know, we recreated everything. I'm like, yo, it has to be from here. You know,
Right.
we're not gonna do what these guys are doing in New York or what they're doing in Philly or anywhere else. It has the Miami feel to it, because other than that, we'll be playing ourselves. We can't act like, because, you know, a lot of guys back then was from different places.
Everybody was sounding like New York.
And they were wanting to talk like New York, act like New York. I'm like, look, them guys got their thing, and that's their thing. You got to respect that. We got to do what we do around here. And that's why, you know, we then, okay, the music up tempo, everybody here like bass, and that's what we like. And so it became the sound that people of Miami was proud of. And people would be able to, you know, young folks going back to college, they would take their 12-inch, okay, I got my Miami, my group. This is my group from the crib, because everybody else was shouting out, oh, I got my group from Philly, I got my group from New York. And so just imagine going to a historical black college, and now you can go up to the turntable and say, play my
Miami.
Play my Miami.
Play these
joint."
Miami niggas right here.
Exactly. And so now that's basically how the music starts
Right.
spreading. And that's how it became big.
I had no idea that, number one, the Two Live Crew was a West Coast group, number one. And number two, they was on some conscious rap.
Yeah.
They was on that conscious, like, you know, like some Public Enemy type shit.
Yep.
And you knew that in Miami, this might be good for like whatever, but this ain't gonna move the crowd.
No. The thing about Two Live Crew, it was two sides of the album. It was the single. It was Yuri V. Light on one side, and it was Fresh Kid Ice on the other side. And so Fresh Kid Ice, on his side of the record, he did a song called Beatbox. And that was more of a Miami beatbox. And then had like it was like a party joint, but it was a little slow. We had to speed it up as a DJ to get it up to the tempo that we needed for Miami, but it had a little bit of bass in it. And on the other side, it was, you know, Yuri was from Brooklyn, and Chris was from Brooklyn as well.
Okay, I didn't know that. So the original, like the cast is from Brooklyn and the Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Did you know that,
Chinese
kid?
guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yes, the Chinese
He's
guy.
a Brooklyn cat.
He's from Brooklyn.
Yo, so
Yeah.
so you convinced
crazy.
them to do party raps.
Exactly.
Right.
And so Yuri said, "Nah, I don't want to do that."
Right.
You know,
He was a proud Brooklyn cat.
He was straight up proud Brooklyn guy.
Right.
You know,
right.
Mix was from California.
Okay.
Mix is from Riverside. So Mix, you know, being the producer, he was a little more open to it. And Chris was like, whatever, you know, and so we ended up, you know, Mix, hey, look, let's go Mix, let's cook this thing up and we're gonna change it, because me and Mix had a bond that, you know, he liked the Leroy Skillet, Unester, and Dolomite and all those kind of songs. I was like, Mix, we can't do what everybody else doing,
Right.
sampling James Brown and all those. We got to sample some other stuff. So Mix was like, well, let's do Dolomite and Leroy Skillet and Unester and all these people. We're gonna put the cussing in there. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do that. So when we did Throw the D, it was, you know, became Throw That Dick.
Right.
And the song started off with Dolomite on there, you know, and so that made us different, because the whole thing was being different, not being like, you know, somebody else.
Throw the D becomes a local hit. Mm-hmm. And you become a part of the group, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, we can't get this deal. Let's put it out ourselves.
Well, my intentions was never to be in a group.
Okay.
You know, how I ended up getting in the group, like I say, you know, I didn't want to have nothing to do with the record. I want to just get these guys a deal and, you know,
Keep it moving.
Y'all keep it moving. So be it. I didn't want to be no manager. I wanted to be Al Heyman. That was my hero.
Al Heyman.
You know, I looked at Al Heyman. He did all the big concerts,
Yes.
the Fresh Festivals, you know, him and Ricky Walker. And
Right.
I wanted to be this big concert promoter.
Okay.
Because I'm doing it on a lower level. My goals would have been doing it in arenas and things like that. So that's what my focus is on. You know, and when people start turning me down with these guys and were like, nah, we won't see this ain't gonna make it, this, you know, that's how I got into the business.
Right.
That's how I ended up saying, okay, fine, I'll put this out myself. So I took my little money that I raised up, you know, from doing the dances, and then I started pressing the records and putting them out and giving them to DJs, and before you know it, it took off.
Right. And, you know, you talk about even at a young age, when most cats was looking for record deals, you realize, you know what, I'm going to own my own shit.
Yeah. I mean, when the thing is, in Miami, it was no such thing as hip hop.
Right.
In the South, it wasn't no Atlanta, it wasn't no Houston, it wasn't nowhere to take a Southern hip hop song. You know, so, you know, you couldn't take it to New York. That was nowhere in the world. You know, no A&R guy gonna be like putting no.
And
Miami
to be
dude
honest,
on.
we wouldn't get it.
No, you wouldn't get it.
I mean, it was a subtle difference between what Africa Bambaataa was doing with Planet Rock and what y'all was doing, but still what made it cool for Africa Bambaataa, because he was from New York.
Yeah.
You know, we were too close-minded to have the same shit coming from Miami at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And songs like that, you know, African Bambaataa, you know, original concept, songs like that.
The bass.
That bass inspired us.
Wow, you said original concept.
Yeah, mess you up.
No, I remember them cats.
It's yours.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Like the fat Dr. Dre.
The fat Dr.
Right.
Dre. Yeah, and those type of songs, I mean, Jazzy J, you know, It's Yours song, that, you remember the bass in that?
Yes.
That was crazy
Yeah.
bass. That, to me, that was the first bass song. You know what I'm saying? Because as a DJ, I'm spinning this, you know, I needed the bass because we would battle. It wasn't mixing and scratching. It was more who got the deepest bass, who got the most bass bins, the most speakers. So I would have to go and look for all these songs. So when I had that It's Yours.
Tila Rock and
oh man,
my God.
You remember all that?
But you know what? It's so funny that you say that, man, because Tila Rock in New York revolutionized hip hop in one way, because that opened up the door for Def Jam. It opened up the door for LL Cool J and the whole nine. But here you are telling us it opened up the door for bass.
Yeah. Tila Rock, I don't know how many times I brought him to Miami.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And he would tear it up.
He would tear it up. I mean, he would tear it up, and then, you know, then you got the Mantronics and all those guys.
Yes, Mantronics.
Because it became electronic, and their music became, you know, you could speed that up, and people in Miami would love that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, then you know, you had the Schoolie D's of the world.
Schoolie D, which is all bass.
Which was
From
all
Philly.
bass. Philly,
what up?
Exactly. So I'm bringing all these artists down there, and again, everybody had the same thing. We ain't getting paid. We getting screwed.
Right.
And like I say, when I then how I ended up in the 2 Live Crew was the guys were like, man, we need you to come in the group and just do your DJing thing, because I was like the Afrojack of Miami.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the most popular DJ in the whole entire state.
Right.
You know, I can go anywhere and just put 5,000 people in a room and turn it up. You know, so they wanted me to do the same thing, you know, in their shows that I did there. So once I ended up, okay, I'll do a couple times and, you know, that'll be it. And before you know it, I ended up stuck in the group. And then I, you know, started creating more songs.
You're telling them to create more records.
Yeah.
And now you're distributing your own records.
Exactly. Because what I would take is the songs that the break beats that we would play, like I would play Mass Production, the breakdown of that, and, you know, Confunction and Barcades and different, you know, and I would, mix Mass Production. I just saw a movie, Full Metal Jacket. The girl said, me so horny. Let's take that in. And now we never did know what that Mass Production joint. Let's put that on there, and Mix would cut it up, cook it all up, and then we just go and tell the guys, hey, look, here's the story. You sing this about that. You sing this about that, and let's ride.
And were they open to it?
Yeah,
they knew it was going to work. They trusted you.
Everybody, yeah, they trusted me. I mean, we had a formula. You know, when I was, you know, with the 2 Live Crew, we had a formula. Everybody respected, you know, the process. You know, I would come in and, hey, Mix, let's do this right, and then Mix, you know, it would be almost like Christmas, because you just wanted to wait to hear
because you knew Mix.
Up. Yeah,
you talk about how, you know, a lot of people didn't have the opportunity to work with Mix, but you working with Mix, you would give him the idea, you would give him a sample, and he would cook it up.
Oh man, he would go crazy. I mean, he do it would be almost like a dinner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You say, hey man, we're gonna have yams and corn on the cob. And then mix it in, add the cornbread, he add the roast, he add everything and all the flavors. And when you come and you'll see this big dinner, it'll be like, damn.
Yeah, and he never failed.
He never failed.
Right.
And you know, to me, he's the most underrated producer ever. I mean, he should have mixed. I mean, because 2 Live Crew was so controversial, I guess so many people didn't work with him. You know,
and it was so local.
Yeah.
You know, because in New York at the time, I like to say that the first hip-hop super producer was Larry Smith. Because he was doing all the records up here, like the Run DMCs and the Houdinis and the whatnot, the Curtis Blows. But then down there,
it was
Mix is creating that whole industry.
Yeah, Mix created the whole sound and everything. I mean, and you know, that's why when people say, oh man, y'all Miami, no, we started hip-hop in the South. We ain't just Miami. It was nothing.
Right.
It was a desert until, you know, we started up, you know, with the business as well as the sound. And, you know, and then you had Lil Jon then started doing bass, you know, everything, because, you know, when, you know, Jermaine Dupri was out, he was trying to be Puff Daddy.
He was trying to be, he was in New York.
He was in New York.
He started in New York.
Exactly. You know, so, you know, he had this little division, this bass division, because that's booty, you know. Everybody thought
what was it called? So Baser.
So, yeah. Exactly. So everybody, you know, it was like, oh, we're not booty. We're commercial. You know what I'm saying? You know, so everybody kind of like, you know, was kind of shying away from it. But at the end of the day, you know, he then started doing his version of it, which was like R&B of it. And then you ended up having us doing what we were doing, and then other guys, 95 South, doing it in Jacksonville and all over the state. And then now you got the Petey Pablos of the world, and everybody just now started to pop off.
But you were the ground zero of that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know what's fucked up, man? You talked about how when you were promoting New York acts in Miami, they all loved you, right? But now the 2 Live Crew gets a buzz, and you start going on the road with some of these cats. And now the same cats that you was putting money in their pocket, they're looking at you like, man, you ain't from, like, your shit is corny. Like,
Yep. You ain't from now, y'all shouldn't be in the business. I mean, I remember, you know, and I talk about in the book, doing shows with Air B, Rakim, and they would give us about that much stage.
like this couch, like this little love seat.
Exactly. And, you know, they would have all these, you know, equipment behind it, and they would, you know, oh, y'all got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You know, because the headliner controls how many minutes.
Right.
All the other guys, and what the fuck, yeah, you know, so I'm like, 5 minutes. what we gonna do? And I mean, it became
like y'all would have fights,
these
right?
These niggas ain't hip hop,
right?
You know, these niggas ain't.
Oh man,
that we became them.
Niggas
them
still
niggas,
say that shit though.
Yeah,
niggas still say that shit. Like this ain't hip hop.
These niggas ain't hip hop. You know, and so that's what they were saying that, and then it became. Then you remember the Redman album?
Yes.
Where it was like, "What's up, dog? What's up, dog?" Making fun of
they was making
Southern guys.
Right.
If you listen to it,
okay,
he would be like, "Yeah, them dudes from down south, them country Bama ass niggas. What's up, dog? What's up, dog? What's up, dog?" And so it'd be amazing. I'd be hearing, you know, "What's up, dog?" became a common slang.
This
I would come to New York and dudes would be like, "Yo, what up, dog?"
And you'd be like, "Fuck you, motherfucker."
I'd be laughing. I'd be laughing, you know, because my mind is, you know, I don't judge one individual or two individuals, the whole town. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, what amazed so many people and the deals that I did do in the music industry, I did because and people don't know this. My number one selling market was never Miami, nothing in this. It was New York.
It was New York. New York people were buying.
Exactly. They were buying more Luke, more 2 Live Crew, more anything that I put out than anywhere in the world.
And you knew that.
And I knew that.
And you knew
so
that.
I would be sitting there laughing. These motherfuckers don't know.
Right.
You know, it's just like that because the people here just love me. So what you might say, oh, it ain't hip hop, Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play get on TV and say, man, these motherfuckers ain't hip hop and they this.
And you talking about Kid and Play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right. You told us one amazing story though about Run DMC.
Right.
The same cats that you was bringing down to Miami. And now they see how hot you are. They telling you you're not New York. You opening up for them. You arguing with their road manager.
Yeah.
And they give you.
It was Leo Court.
It was Leor.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Man.
I mean, you know, like I say, I talk about it in the book.
Yeah.
It was Gulfport, Mississippi, where we were at. And, you know, we went there to do a concert. And, you know, I'm like, that was the first time we performed with them, you know, because they used to put us on these shows because our records were like the number one selling records in these markets.
Right.
These guys had these big tours already going on, and they would be like, oh, well, we got to add the 2 Live Crew to this because their record is really number one record selling in this market. So, yeah, this tour is great, but this is what's going to take it over the top. And so, you know, they ended up putting us on that show in Gulfport.
They gave you 3 minutes. What the fuck do you do with 3 minutes?
Exactly. Luke? They said 3 minutes. And I went and I got so pissed off. You know, you got this guy, you know, I don't know where the fuck he's from. You know,
talking this
out.
spooky, yo, you only have 3 minutes.
Yeah, you got 3 minutes.
Get the fuck the 2 Live Crew. Get the fuck, this is Run DMC.
Exactly. This Run House, this Run Show. You got 3 minutes. That's it. Fuck that. You can't do nothing with that. I'm like, you tripping.
You can't do nothing with that.
And now this me, right? I'm making this conversion of getting my life in order.
Right.
Because I got that other side of me that
like you want to pull out the yappa.
Yeah, and I got it. I got it. I still got it.
Yes, Luke.
Yeah, it's on me.
Yes.
You know, the tools are in the car. It's like this.
Y'all some
tripping.
Southern cats. Y'all know what that gunplay is, right?
So what blew my mind was this young group that I saw that I never saw a white guy. You know, I always saw their manager. They always had a black guy manager. I forget what the manager's name was. But then now they got big, and now this white guy speaking on behalf of them. So that kind of
being disrespectful.
So that kind of fucked me up, right? I was like, okay, well, you know, I guess that's what happens when you get big,
right?
And so, you know, it just pissed me off. I was like, nah, he tripping.
Right.
I said, we're gonna do this here, Mix. We got 3 minutes. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna fucking you gonna turn the shit on. You gonna cut Peter Piper for 3 minutes.
And you did Peter Piper.
We did. We ain't doing damn motherfucking song. So I went out there was like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Run DMC manager just told us because of the headline. I told the crowd this is like 15,000 people sold out.
Damn.
They told us we don't have but 3 minutes. You know we got this song that we would love to sing for y'all. But
and they're screaming.
They screaming, fuck Run DMC, fuck Run DMC.
Nice.
This the South, bitch. You know, and Before you know, I was like, we gonna do this right here. The tribute to Run DMC since they won all this shit. And he just fired this Peter Piper, Big Pepper, Peter Piper, Peter Piper, Peter Piper. And Mix was a trick DJ.
Right.
So Mix would do it with his dick, do it like this, do it with his mouth, do it over here, do it with his elbow. He was like, man, them dudes ran up to the stage. On the stage, man, y'all can't do that shit. So it became police came on stage. We were like, okay, bring that shit on.
You shut it down.
Yeah, we shut it down. The people just lost it fucking mind.
You know, you was smart too, man, because it wasn't just y'all that was getting disrespected by New York.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about having to actually do the quote unquote chitlin circuit with other groups like say NWA and cats that weren't from New York.
Yep. I mean, we all at that period of time, we just like you say, we got pushed into the back. It became me, NWA, some other groups, anything out of Philly, you know, we would get pushed
EST
on,
and them.
EST, all that stuff like that. We would get pushed on tour together, Schoolie D every now and then. Some other cats out of California, whether it was Egyptian Lover or something like that, you know. So we would all get, you know, it was Pac.
Wow, young Pac, really?
Yeah, he was with Digital Underground.
Right. How was that, man? How was it being on the road with traveling with Pac? Man?
Oh, that dude there. He stayed in my room every night. He would be on the floor. He just wanted to know.
Right.
He just wanted to know, and the connect that me and him had was because he had that Black Panther in him. So we would just sit down all night after a show and talk that.
Be like that Leon Cohen, man. Watch that Leon Cohen. Watch that tall Israeli.
Exactly. And so I mean. We had a lot of like Easy. Me and Easy used to sit there and be like, yo, man, that's fucked up. So people don't even realize that back then, the East Coast, West Coast thing was brewing up then before it became Biggie and Pop.
Right.
It was those things were happening because we had got shitted on so bad. You know what I'm saying?
So y'all had all that pent up.
It was backed up. Right. I mean, we got pushed on the chitlin circuit. You know, anytime it was time to do a fresh festival, we couldn't get on those dates.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ricky Walker and all these guys, we couldn't get on none of those Budweiser Superfest. We would throw in the garbage because we wasn't hip hop.
Right.
You know, and so all those years, and so now once the California guys got on, once we got on, and now it became a little even, then these guys have a voice, that's when the shit hit the fan.
Right.
It was like, yo, this and this and that, and this how we feel about y'all. Now we getting this shit even now, and that's what it was a big spillover.
So you start your label, Luke Records.
Yep.
It's Luke Skywalker and the Two Live Crew. Right. And you selling records.
Yeah, them selling them all over the place.
You making money.
Yeah, out the back door, out the woodshed.
First year, like what, 750,000, something like that, right?
Yeah.
You're on the road with like the Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff and Rakim and them, and they're like, yo, what kind of label is Luke Records?
Yeah.
And you're laughing at them because you're like, yo, you're signed through so-and-so through Columbia or Sony or Universal. Yeah, y'all might be going platinum, but I'm making more money than y'all.
Exactly. I mean, I remember that trip, and I talk about it in the book. We were going to Chicago. We was on, they gave us this old bus. We went from Indiana to Indianapolis to Chicago. We was on this like 3-day tour, and so we all on the bus. You know, at the beginning of the bus ride, it was more like we don't fuck with them niggas.
Right.
You know, we was like the dudes sitting in the front of the bus, the ones that you don't fuck with. So eventually, as the days went on, we started talking and what label y'all on? Oh, Luke Records. Man, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
so it
we
became
fucking
a
with
joke.
Def Jam. We fucking with Rush.
We over here. We over there. And then I'm like, really? How much money y'all making? So then it became, whoa, okay, let's talk. So then it became these big meetings around the campfire. You know, after the show and before the show. You doing what?
Merchandise. We selling merchandise. We own our merchandise. Because they were selling merchandise. They didn't own their merchandise. Winterland. They were signed through Winterland.
Exactly. I say, see that shit that y'all selling right there? And, I used to break it down to them because after a while, at the beginning it was a joke. But then at the end of the day, the joke became more nil.
Right.
Because I'm like, how much you make from Winterland? Oh, we make $1,200. I mean, how much they sell a T-shirt for? Oh, $25. Okay, well, you see this big old crate right here I got up under this bus? I said, these are our T-shirts. I made the T-shirt for $2, and I'm selling it for the same amount. So to make that $1,200 that you just got, you know, the man ain't got to sell but probably 100 shirts, if that. And he just made that $1,200 back right there. So now when I leave out here, I say, what I'm doing right here, you see the other members of the 2 Live Crew, we cut a deal. Y'all can have all the show money. All I just wanted the merchandise money. So I'm sitting up there on the bus counting my money. Yeah, I just made 15 grand tonight. These motherfuckers are like, what the fuck? So then we got into the conversations about the difference in the manufacturing the records and how much money you make on the record. And so I kind of like broke it down, and them dudes was like, yo, y'all making this amount. I'm manufacturing a record for $1.19.
Wow, no royalties, no.
Exactly.
At the time you talked about, I think it was Run DMC or one of them acts, they was getting 10% royalty, and you was getting 100%.
I'm getting 100%.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there telling them.
Are they believing you?
Yeah.
They
were
see the money.
They was, you know, again, they hadn't came down a couple times, and then they seeing the money, and then they start seeing jets and shit. You know, because I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be off this bus in a minute. You know, because my brother, again, he owned this company, and he owned a bunch of jets because he was a Navy pilot. You know, and so he was like, yo, I got a jet here that's sitting around. You could just pay the rent on it, you know, every month, you know, and you could have it. And so we getting hotter and hotter. And, oh, shit, I could do 2 a days. I could do a date over here, and then we could fly and do another date that night. So give me a jet.
It became cheaper.
It became cheaper.
To have your own jet.
Yeah, so one time I ended up booking Public Enemy to do a concert in Miami, and I had Public Enemy and Run DMC and some other acts, and they were already booked in Atlanta doing a daytime event. So I was flying them back and forth, and they were like, this motherfucker really...
he's really doing it.
He's really doing it.
And what's crazy is you're getting paid as an artist. You're getting paid as a promoter.
Yep.
You're getting paid as the label owner. You're getting paid from the merchandise. What publishing? You're getting paid for all of that shit.
All that. I mean, I did commercials.
Right.
Like I be laughing at the Rockaway and the Sean John commercials and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I was the first one to do that. I did commercials way back then, put them on BET. You know, like, took stores and just put clothes in the stores. You could buy a 2 Black, 2 Strong t-shirt. You could buy the Luke jacket. You could buy this and all that.
The scarves, you had the scarves.
Yeah, I put the scarves on the University of Miami football players, and they would run around national TV. Everybody wanted a scarf, and I had my shit on, and it became, look, we selling everything, you know, and everybody wanted to buy the merch. To this day, right now, people buy that merchandise.
You know, you talk about when things really got hot for you, you made a choice to stay independent. And you talk about, like, not really being disrespectful, but you talked about how Russell was in a position to do the same thing. And he took that deal with Columbia, and you would have never taken a deal like that.
I would have never taken a deal. And he said that to me.
Right.
He said
afterwards.
He said, man, if I would have did what you did, I would have had, dude, I'd have made so much money.
He would have been like a billionaire easily.
He'd been bigger than Brunson.
Right.
Easy.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The Virgin guy.
Right.
He'd have been, I mean, and he said that.
Branson, right? Yeah,
Branson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yo, man, if I did that, if I had the balls to do what you did, I'd have, man. And so all these guys always looked at me like that. They always looked at, if I had the balls to do what he did, you know, unfortunately I was put in that situation. Like, you know.
The doors weren't opened up for you.
No, I couldn't take a record, you know, but the good part about it was that, you know, because people didn't realize that they manufactured records in different regions of the country. Like in New York, they would manufacture the records in Jersey to cover New York, Philly, and all these other areas. And then California, they would manufacture the records outside of LA. And so in Florida, they would manufacture records for the Caribbean islands. And the Caribbean islands, they sold the records for less money.
So it was cheaper.
So it was half cheaper. So I'm manufacturing the same places that Sony is manufacturing.
But you're right there.
I'm right there in Miami.
Right.
I'm manufacturing.
I'm a country bumpkin. Like, let me get that.
Yeah,
man.
And then it was one pressing plant that was going out of business. I kind of like really took over. So it was like this pressing plant named Gabor. It was just him and his little wife, and he was like, you know, I was like, look, man, I'm making some records. He was like, well, you gonna have to come work in here.
Okay.
So I'm like, no problem. So I'm in there pouring the vinyl in there.
The shellac, the
vinyl.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pouring the vinyl in the machine. I'm making the records, getting the stampers, getting new stampers, putting new stampers on, cooling them off. I became, so I knew how to make the actual
from soup
records.
to nuts, man.
Soup to nuts, put them in the box and then take them to the UPS, ship them out, and there it is.
That's crazy. So initially when y'all start, y'all are doing the dance records. The Luke Skywalker and the Two Live Crew, y'all doing the dance records. What brought in the sex? What brought in the women? Like what shifted? You talk about Tootsies, your experience at Tootsies, but what was it that was like, you know what? I could really bring chicks to this thing.
Well, what brought more of the sex, became like I say, the throw the D, and then we got to do an album. Then it became, like I say, I had some white boy security guys who used to work, Damon and Rocco. They used to work the door at the teen disco for me. So, across the street they had the Tootsies Club. It was the Little Tootsies. Now it's the biggest club in the Southeast strip club.
Right.
I guess they blew up too. So they took me over there and they were like, yo, man, I was like, man, black people don't go in strip clubs. No. So
really?
I was like,
there was no strip clubs.
No, it was no strip clubs.
No black strip clubs.
None.
Nothing.
You looked at a strip club, like these are the motorcycle guys going up in there. They were like, look, man, you see how big we are, you ain't got to worry about nothing. So they basically introduced me to the strip club. I went in there, I was totally amazed. And I was like, man.
Amazed at that people were spending so much money?
People spending money, girls dancing naked.
Girls doing this.
Exactly.
Right.
So that was my first time seeing that. And so then I go back over there to the teen disco. Now I make a song, Ghetto Nasty, another dance where everybody humping on each other and everything. And before you know it, the girls start dancing like that. And then him seeing that, he was like, man, you right, ain't no black strip club. So then these guys then got creative and started opening up black strip clubs. And before you know it, I then took the dancing girls. I took, before they opened the clubs up, when I started doing the videos, I had the videos and the girls dancing in the videos, and I would take, because all the girls weren't cute.
Right.
I would
You
take the
cute
model
faces.
Yeah, I'd take the model chicks and shoot their face and then shoot the other girls' ass, right?
Right.
And so then it's like, damn, Luke got all these fine chicks on the video. And then again, like the Nastiest Wannabe album.
Right.
All those girls weren't cute.
Right.
That's
Which is
why
why
I
you
had
saw the asses.
That's all you saw was asses pointed that way. So it was about, the sex and the music and the look. And it was about where we were from. It was a product of our environment. Everybody walking around in bikinis. It's all sex. People top down, and that's what they did down in Miami. So as we started doing more parties, and doing more concerts, and then we then added dancers. So we added the male dancing guys and the girl dancing guys. I
didn't know you had the male dancers.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
No Good But So Good. One of my artists.
Okay,
they were all dancers. They were the male dancers of the group.
Right.
If you look at the Move Something video, you'll see them in there. And so we had guy dancers and girl dancers, and before you know it, we just say, okay, we'll do these girls. Yeah. And then that's when people start opening up black strip clubs.
And that's when this shit really went to the next level.
It went to the next level. And then I then started using the girls at a strip club,
right.
And I would, tell them, hey, look, work the camera like you working some unattractive guy. And so they would look into the camera because, we took, and I talk about it, we took like University of Miami because we ain't had no production house. You can shoot anywhere in Miami. Right now you need everybody, you need permit up the ass to go shoot in Miami right now. We shoot everywhere. People were like, oh, please shoot in the front of here. Like that, all on the beach and everything. So we, I used the University of Miami students, and they would come and be shooting the videos for a class and no money, like $2,000. Right. This was a class for them. Oh, just buy the film and we'll get the equipment over the weekend from the school and do these videos. So we did that, and I got the strippers. Now we got these strip clubs going on, and the strippers looking at the camera, and I'm thinking I'm getting ready to go. I'm going on BET. Yeah. And BET was like, hell no.
We're not fucking with you. We're not fucking with you.
We ain't fucking with you.
MTV, nobody's fucking with you.
Nobody's fucking with you.
But the video, what is it? The video jukebox.
Video jukebox.
They heard about you through the video jukebox.
Yeah.
And your shit was on demand.
Exactly. There's one of the guys who created MTV. His name Les Garland.
Okay.
He moved down to Miami, and he got some kind of way not affiliated with MTV no more. I guess he sold his part of it, and then he created this video jukebox.
Right.
And then he was like, yo, man, I got to get you, bring these videos over here. Matter of fact, I will help pay for the videos because, you know, they was
Wow.
like pay-per-view on demand.
Right.
And before you know it, I started doing the videos on there. Now that sent it out to the masses.
And
so
now
I had
everybody
no radio
knows
play. Yeah.
what's the show. Everybody knows, like, you know, he's records.
Yep.
And then now it's not just black kids
Everybody
buying the records.
Oh, it became an epidemic.
And that's when the problem started. That's when the problem
the
started,
shit hit
right?
the fan, yeah.
You know what? Let's go to a quick break. Internet, you tuned into the Combat Jack Show. We got Luther Campbell on here. This is an amazing, amazing history. I implore you to go out and get his book, The Book of Luke, My Fight for Truth, Justice, and Liberty City. Be back soon. Internet, this portion of the Combat Jack Show is brought to you by Bevel, the superior shaving system. We just had Uncle Luke on. Uncle Luke, king of bass music, king of the strip clubs and the strippers and Me So Horny and the whole nine. Stripping, I mean, the strip clubs are this biggest industry right now. When you and your boys go out and you trying to get more than just the lap dance, when you want to get these strippers to fall in love with you and you want to sneak them out the back, they not going home with you if your shit is ragged up. But if you got a smooth baby skin shave on your face and you smelling good and looking good and acting like a gentleman, you might go home and get that sloppy toppy. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, you could all put that on and account that to Bevel because your shit was smooth. But you don't go to no strip club looking like, yeah, nigga. Go to getbevel.com, punch in the promo code COMBAT, COMBAT, for 20% off all your goods and services. Take that stripper home. Take that stripper home and shave like a boss. And now back to the show. Internet, you tune into the Combat Jack Show. We got Premium Pete. What's up, Pete?
Cheer, what's going on, Combat?
Yo, we got Uncle Luke on the show, man. And this history is crazy. So Luke, man. So you start bringing more girls to more sex.
More sex
to the show.
Yeah.
Right? The video jukebox is blasting y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all are selling like crazy. People are coming to your shows. White kids are coming to your shows. And you were really smart, man. You talked about how you knew the difference between younger audiences and older audiences, and you didn't really want no problem. You foresaw that would be a problem if kids bought these sexually explicit records. So you came out with your own stickers before the industry.
Yeah,
like these parental. You came up with that shit.
Yeah, I came up with the whole parental advisory sticker.
How did that happen? Like,
basically, what happened is I had this PTA from Alabama. They hit me up and they said, "Hey, the young kids are getting the records."
Right.
And I was like, "Well, it's not intended for the young kids."
So there was a complaint.
Yeah, and they said, "Well, what can you do?" And I was like, "Okay, well, let me go and think about something." So I basically took the idea from the movie industry. They had the advisory sticker, 17
the ratings,
years,
the
PG,
G,
and all that. So I took, the rating system, and I took, basically PG-17. I said, let me incorporate that in to stickering the record. And then I would then call up, because back then you have a staff of people sitting in the room, they're calling all the record stores. You had a crew that called record stores, and then you had a crew that called radio stations. So I'm going to go down there and say, hey, look here, when y'all call the record store, let them know we're going to send 2 different versions and do not sell that version to the kids. I'm like,
version,
okay,
right.
Well, if you could do it with beer and cigarettes, you can do it at the record store.
Right.
So, but I just need to label it so they can know the difference. And basically, I came up with the label, made it, had my art guy cook it up and stuck it on the record and say, this is what it is.
Unfortunately, people started getting arrested, right?
People started getting arrested.
Like store record store
Yeah,
owners.
well, when people started getting arrested was, again, you got Al Gore, wife, Tipper Gore. She got this group, she's with the group Focus on the Family, PMRC.
PMRC, right.
And these women, Baker, wife,
Jim Baker.
Exactly.
Was it Jim Baker? No, Jim Baker was the evangelist.
Exactly. It was the Baker who got shot, I think.
Right.
and they get together with this group and all these Christian outlets, and they start coming after us.
Right.
Oh, they're bad for the world. They're bad for the kids. They're doing this. And I'm like, yo, I got a sticker right here. And so once we started doing that, then that's when basically the heat came after us.
You talk about this guy, Jack Thompson.
Yeah.
Like the main one that was after you. Like he was like, you know, at the time you talked about how Madonna was doing all this sexually explicit shit.
Yeah,
she was a
Dice
pop star.
Clay,
Andrew Dice Clay
everybody.
was the grimiest cat in terms of his material, but you were Public Enemy #1.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about how your music really integrated the social scene in Miami.
Yeah.
Like white kids were coming to your shows, and the parents were not. They was not loving that. They was not loving that they was coming home with these albums and the whole nine. So you got persecuted.
Oh yeah, yeah. It became. Let me tell you, it became white kids around the country because all the fraternity houses.
Right.
We were the fraternity songs.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we
You definitely were.
Yeah. When you got We Want Some Pussy screaming through the frat house, the dudes getting drunk, and then then we started getting a little more creative.
Right.
We sampling Van Halen and stuff like that. Smoke on the Waters. Mix just getting crazy right now.
And because you know that, even though these purist cats are saying y'all are not hip hop, y'all are comfortable in your hip hopness, but you understand that you have a broader audience.
Yeah. Yeah, we were happy about where we was. I mean, we weren't worried about what people said and how they said it, and we did what we had to do. And so at the end of the day, like I say, doing these songs and touring and being introduced to this new audience, it was like, hey, fuck it. But then just like you say, what ended up happening is when we became crossover, when we crossed over into them white households, that's when the biggest problem happened.
So when you started getting harassed by cops and the whole nine, instead of backing down, you got madder.
Yeah.
Like when you went in to record As Nasty as Could Be, you know what I'm saying? You were really pissed off. You kind of wanted to piss off white America.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, okay, we're going to push the envelope. Because the question was, if you got, before us,
right?
These conglomerates owned all these other records. They owned it, Millie Jackson. Because I'm going back to Millie Jackson was on a label. You know what I'm saying?
Millie
Dice
Jackson
Clay.
was foul.
She
had the foul mouth.
And all these other Leroy Skillet, you had Unester. Unester is on every day.
Right.
Sanford and Son.
Yes.
You had
Red Fox was vulgar.
You got all these guys.
And they on TV, American TV, prime time.
Exactly. And then, the straw that broke the camel's back was, I'm sitting there like, they got a fucking Playboy. Playboy, they naked in here.
Right.
Penthouse, they are naked in here.
And this is America.
And this is America. Why y'all messing with me? So I became real angry and I got madder and I was like, man, fuck it. I guess the First Amendment don't apply to me. It applies to others. I guess we still have men. So all this Uncle Ricky and all that
Uncle Ricky is coming into
I'm like, fuck that.
Right.
Okay, we gonna fight for free speech and that's what we did.
But they were trying to say that your music was, in a sense, worse than pornography.
Yeah.
They were trying to say it was obscene. They were trying to say it wasn't creative. And you also said that they were trying to hit you with the RICO?
Yeah.
For your music.
Exactly. A lot of people don't know RICO. RICO is
that's a mob shit.
Racketeering.
That's the mob shit.
I know about it.
You know about RICO, yeah. I mean, it was like, we're going to hit them with RICO statute. So, I mean, basically, we went through that.
Right.
And along the way, once they got a federal judge, Gonzalez, that then deemed the song, this is pornography, this song shouldn't be sold, and we now deem this to be obscene.
Obscene. So now
that's when people start going to jail.
Right. Now the record store owners are going to jail, but you're going to jail now.
Yeah.
Like
after the record, when he deemed it obscene, I was like, fuck this.
Right.
I don't think so. And so I went back in the same county where he said the song was obscene, which was Broward County, with a federal judge right down the street from his place, booked the show and at this little club. I don't even, the name of it was Frencher. I don't know how I ended up getting booked in there, but I was like, book me in here. I'm going to go right down the street from the courthouse.
And the cops were waiting. The cops were waiting.
They were sitting there waiting.
Right.
And I told the guys in the room, I said, hey, look, y'all prepared to go to jail because it's police up in there. You know, and I talk about it in the book about, you know how you see the police. They got, they got a New York Jet shirt on and a Buffalo Bill hat.
They got all this fake. They got the Los Jets. They got the Los Jets jerseys and shit.
Exactly.
So as you're getting arrested, you start finding ways, like you talk about in the book about how you find ways to fuck with the police. You would quote unquote break the law. You would perform, and then you would dip.
Yeah. That's everybody's intrigued by that. You know, like I say, I had to, because I was public enemy number one.
Right.
I was a real public enemy number one. It was, when I come to town, they meet me at the airport like, yo, you sing those songs, you're going to jail.
Right.
The chief of police, and
they gave you the option. It wasn't that your group was obscene. It was like, if you do these songs, if you do a clean version, it'd be all right. But if you do the crazy
if you
shit,
do the dirty one,
right.
you going to jail.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, we'll see.
Right.
I guess you'll see when you come to the show.
And you had and right now your dances, it's over the top now, right? Is it like niggas is eating them out?
Well, that they got eaten out after the police stopped coming.
Okay.
When the police said we can't beat this fucking guy, then the eating out started.
Right.
The shit really got grimy.
The shit boiled down. You hired an amazing attorney.
Yes.
And y'all really fought this. Y'all took it all the way to the top of the federal court?
Supreme Court.
The
obscenity
trial
was the federal court.
Federal court.
Yeah.
And y'all beat that.
Yeah, we actually lost the first one.
The first one,
Gonzalez, said the song was obscene, and then we had to then appeal his ruling to, I think, the 4th District Court of Appeals.
Okay.
And then we won it at that District Court of Appeals, and they overturned his ruling, because once he ruled it, guys started saying, man, we're going to sell the record anyway. So they were putting record store owners in jail. Everybody was going to jail.
Because what happened was, the more obscene they said you were, the more people wanted to buy the record.
The more people wanted to buy it. They wanted to hear this. Yeah. Everybody was like, okay, I ain't no rap fan. I got to hear I got to hear this shit here. And it became crazy like that. And people just wanted the music, and we started selling more music. And I was like, look, I'm going to go and perform anyway. So, my thing was, I'm going to just push the envelope.
You say you were public enemy number one, but really you were, because even like the other groups that were getting persecuted at the time, like Public Enemy and Ice-T, them cats really didn't have a choice. Them cats was signed to labels. And when it came down to it, the labels, they kicked out Professor Griff from Public Enemy. Warner Brothers shut down Ice-T. You're an independent owner. Black, like at the time, the owner of the biggest black label in America, and you decided you wanted to fight. So you really became public enemy number one.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt about it. I wasn't affiliated with nobody.
Right.
And see, what people don't understand, back then you then had the Clinton coming in and all that, and a lot of the major record companies started pumping money into their campaigns, and so they had a little bond going on, and just again using me as a pawn in the game.
You were the new Willie Horton.
Yeah. We got to get rid of this guy.
Right.
Because number one, this guy is stealing record sales from us. We cannot sign him. He ain't coming to the table. He's doing all this music, and so then it escalated. So then now you got you have mayors, you have state attorneys, you got the vice president. You got all kind of people speaking out against what we were doing.
Yeah. At what point do you say, am I fucking crazy? Like, at what point do you say, this shit isn't this shit scary? like, you know what I'm saying? At what point do you like what forces you to go on? Because a lot of people would back down, my dude.
Yeah. I mean, I could have easily backed down.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, only the one case that I had, the case that when I performed a song that was considered obscene, and I went to state court. And actually won that case. That was the only case that I could have went to jail.
Right.
That I had to fight.
Right.
You know, all the other ones I ain't have to fight.
Right.
You know, I could just, you know, take an L and just sit on down and keep my money and not have to spend the millions of dollars that I spent. You know, but I was like, look here, man, I'm a black kid from the hood. You know, I'm supposed to be either dead or in jail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or
this money
mopping
ain't,
floors or something.
Exactly. This money it ain't about the money. You know, because my mother and dad always taught me about, hey, look here, you going to be a man, either you're going to be a man, you're going to stand for something, or you ain't going to stand for nothing at all. You know, and never sell your soul for anything. So that was always instilled in me and all my other brothers. So I'm like, yo, I'm going to take this shit to the door.
And you had the money because at the time you was worth about, on paper, like $100 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, it was crazy money. I mean, we were doing $10 million a year easy.
Right.
Yeah, in record sales.
And what's crazy is the group, you fighting so hard, they wasn't into the fight like that.
No, they were partying.
Right. They wanted to be artists, and you wanted to be the revolutionary.
Exactly. Yeah, you would see at the beginning, you know, at the first hearing, everybody that had the first hearing. Then as it went on, it became just me and my lawyer, Bruce Rogo.
Right.
And at the end, it was me and Bruce Rogo. Yeah. And then the cases started becoming Luther Campbell versus Acuff Rose. Because if you look at the Supreme Court case, it wasn't Two Live Crew versus Acuff Rose, the people who own the Pretty Woman music. It became me.
Right.
So everything became me against everybody else.
All right, let's move forward. So you beat the case. Now you have all this freedom. You got all this freedom to do whatever you want creatively. Your music is.
That's when the girls came.
That's when the girls came.
Bring them on stage.
That's when you went crazy. That's when motherfuckers was like getting eaten out. Motherfuckers was getting head on stage.
Yeah, one of the first concerts was in at the Apollo.
Apollo in New York. Doodoo Brown.
They brought me in an Apollo. It was me and MC Ren.
Mm-hmm.
Ren opened up for us, and that's I think NWA had broke up at that time. So Ren was out there solo, and he opened up the show, and man, we got on stage, and I was like, I'd never been to fucking Apollo in my life.
The first time
in my life.
And how they receiving you right now?
Oh, they would love me because you know you got Red Alert and Flex. They just going crazy with the Doodoo Brown.
Well, you know what, Doodoo Brown. When I first heard Doodoo Brown in the clubs in New York, to me, like as a trained cat in New York, that was the first Miami bass record that I was like, yo, this shit is like everybody loves it. It wasn't a Miami, it was a universal record.
It was a universal record.
And the chicks went crazy.
Yeah.
So you in Apollo and you play that record and
when I performed that record in there, people just you know, because we had a portion of at this portion of the show where I bring girls on stage. Right. You want to come dance with me? And I bring the girls up on the stage, and before you know it, girls hop up on stage and shit. And then next thing you know, they dancing and they freaking take that shit off. And before the song come on, they taking it off. And I'm out there freaking the girls and shit. You know, and I had this one part of it where I was just like, okay, fuck it. You're going to give me some head on stage? Because I was like, I was actually getting head on stage. Yeah, I was
what?
just.
My nigga, did you just lose your mind or you was?
I mean, anything new. Rick James is eating pussy on stage. Fuck that, I'm going to get some head on stage.
Yo, let me ask you a personal question, man. You on stage. There's hundreds of people in the audience. There's no pressure to get your shit sucked on stage.
No, I just whip out.
That's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing that you say.
I know. When I used to do them fucking peep shows and freak shows, I tell dudes, whip out. Hey, Akinelli, you did the put it in your mouth song. Okay, hey, she gonna suck your dick.
Yo,
it's like, no. So you ain't about that life, huh?
You ever feel that you perform better when you were getting sucked off?
Actually, I couldn't move enough. I was in Japan, you know, they got footage.
Japan is crazy. That's a whole other level.
Oh, man, I went over there and I just really, you know, because they were like, no, we're not like America. They fucking with you in America. So I spent so much time in Japan and Holland and Amsterdam. I'm like, you know, so I'm going over these places and it's like, they smoking weed. The girls is in the window, the Yum Yum Club. Everybody's freaking out. Well, the fuck is going on? We're not really free. You know, okay, I'm going to show y'all how to be free. You know, because I done went to these different exotic countries and came back.
And they would freak out. The Japanese chicks would freak out.
Man,
They're
I had I had a train. They ran a train on me.
Yo,
on the stage.
how did you come up with the record Banned in the USA? Because
Banned in the U.S.
at the time, that was the record that really got you on like the MTVs and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know the crazy story about that, and I talk about it in the book. That was Bruce Springsteen was the only person that supported us.
When you were going through the whole...
Yeah, it wasn't no Russell Simmons.
Right.
It wasn't no... Everybody in the hip-hop industry is like, fuck them. Please get rid of them.
That's not hip-hop.
Right
We
now,
don't
that's
fuck
not
with them
hip-hop.
niggas, right.
We ain't fucking with them. You know what I'm saying? And then, again, I'm sitting around, I have a knack for switching up a song. I'm like, Born in the USA.
Which was a big record at the time.
I'm like, fucking Banned in the USA. That's what these motherfuckers banned me in it. So then that was my first solo album.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I want to do this song. And then, one of the guys with me got Bruce Springsteen on the phone, and I asked him for permission. And he said, nah, man, I believe in the struggle. I believe in the fight. And it was a 5-minute conversation. It wasn't that long.
And he gave you his blessings.
He gave me his blessings and everything.
That's
I was
crazy.
like, man, this some wild shit. All this this black power, this, the white guy, got my back.
Right.
And I'm like, this you motherfucking niggas.
Yeah.
And the other person was Sinead O'Connell.
Really? Sinead?
Yeah. Me and her, ended up linking up. We were cool.
That's dope.
Yeah, and she understood everything, and everybody else was like, hey, get rid of him.
But the next big fight was the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Like you did Big Hairy Woman. What was the name of the record?
Pretty Woman.
You're right.
Pretty Woman.
You parodied that.
Yes.
And they said that you didn't have the right to use that record as a parody.
Yeah. They said it was a parody.
Right.
Exactly. And yeah.
And that took you to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. When they see what was happening is I get I talk about it in the book. I get sued. All these little right-wing organizations, anything that I was affiliated with, that they turned into germs. Like they would call up George Lucas.
Right.
And George Lucas sued me, and I had to end up paying him $500,000.
$500,000, and you had to stop using Skywalker.
Exactly.
Right.
So they called George Lucas. How could you dare allow this misogynistic pig to use your name and then sue him, or we're gonna stop looking at Star Wars and all your movies.
We're gonna boycott the whole.
We're gonna boycott your shit
Lucasfilms
because you're supporting him. And then he's like, oh no, even though I had a license. Then you had this guy, so they were coming after everybody. And so now they go to Roy Orbison. How dare you, Roy Orbison, allow them to use your song? You sued them out. We're gonna boycott your shit. So they had no choice.
Even the Weird Al Yankovic was doing shit like that. Right.
Yep.
So
you had Bobby Jimmy. You remember Bobby Jimmy?
Yeah, definitely.
All, Weird Al Yankovic. You had everybody. You had Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. People like that doing parodies. And to this day, they do them every Saturday.
Right.
So, you got all that going on. And I'm like, hold on. So the whole case was, this is not parody. This is not art. This is not nothing. So they won in one court. And we won in one court. We got it appealed. And then after that, it went to the 4th District Court of Appeal. They then shipped it up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court heard it.
Yo, walk us through you walking into the Supreme Court, like how that shit looked.
Oh, man,
like
that
you
was
sitting
amazing.
with the top justices, like Clarence Thomas and those cats.
Yeah, right after his Anita Hill, his confirmation. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit,
this freaky nigga.
This dude is really gonna fucking crucify me. He just got in the seat. He just went off on a bunch of freaky shit they just accused him of with Anita Hill. I'm dead. I will count him out. So it was like a movie.
Did he rule against you?
No, actually, he ruled for me. It was like a movie.
It was a movie.
You go in there and it's no courtroom like that in the world.
No cameras.
Obviously, I've been to court everywhere.
Been to courtroom. Courtrooms.
In the Bahamas, I've been to court everywhere. I've been to jail everywhere. Right. So I go in there, man. It's like almost take off all your clothes.
Right.
Take everything out your pockets. They want everything. Keys, they don't want nothing in that courtroom. So they give you a locker and you walk through after you put your stuff in a locker and then you sit down and be quiet. and the guards walking up and down. Don't say a word. Don't even breathe wrong. No going to the bathroom or nothing. You got to hold it. If you got to do it right now. You know, and so when you go up in there, you know, and these justices come from behind the black robe, one, it's like some Houdini shit. And then they go
That's
sit
some
down.
real Illuminati shit.
Like, yeah, it's another one. It's like, shit. You know, and I'm like, how the hell did I end up in this joint? You know what I'm
How
saying?
the hell did you end up in this joint?
Yeah, I'm just sitting there like, oh, Lord, I should have just stopped. You know what I'm saying?
But you had a lot of money on the line.
Yeah.
Like you would have lost a lot of money.
I'd have lost, if I lose the case, then they would have sued the dog crap out of me. But I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about, you know, hey, look, you know, if I lose the whole rap industry, you know, because I had to then came down to that. That's what this is all about.
Right, you can't sample,
you know,
like it would have probably bled into sampling and
exactly.
and the whole nine, right?
And so, you know, we ended up in what surprised me in the whole deal was the brief that was filed against me. Michael Jackson filed the brief against me.
Michael Jackson was against you.
Yeah,
right.
And Dolly Parton was against me because Alkovich was doing all that songs. So if they ruled against me,
they would have went after him.
They'd have sued Alkovich and they would sue all them, and then you had people like Saturday Night Live file briefs on my behalf, and other people support me
because they knew that shit was going to come down on them.
Exactly.
Right.
The lady who just became a justice, I forget what her name is. She's a justice now. She actually filed,
Spanish lady.
The lady before her, she filed a brief on behalf of us.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
That was funny. You know what I'm saying? They talked about that when they were getting that together. But no, it was an amazing feeling, amazing story.
And you win.
You win. Yeah, that was big.
You win.
It was like the world, lift off my shoulder. It was like you won in the biggest court in the land.
Yo, did you ever get tired of all this fighting, man? Because you making music, you're making money, but you got to fight so hard.
Yeah.
More than almost any other artist at the time.
Yeah, and with nobody helping.
Right.
Nobody, starting no big fund. Let's help Luther.
No GoFundMe.
Fight. Yeah, ain't no GoFundMe.
This is your money.
It's all my money, and nobody coming out, to help. Nobody, all this RIAA and all these organizations that supposed to be supporting artists and the Grammys and all that. Yes, none of them came out to support it.
So you win, and this is like a symbol of real freedom now.
Yes.
And the music in America, the whole nine. You talked about, and I thought this was really amazing, man. You're a tough guy. You never back down. But you get invited to play Band in the USA for the MTV Music Awards.
Yeah.
And you felt that this was the first time that you were really, really accepted.
Yeah.
And you're performing and you got the shades on you, and you said these tears come to your eyes. Man.
Yeah. That thing had me crying out
right.
there. Yeah, that was a deep moment because it was like you let it, the whole world off your shoulder, all these critics, all these things flying. It's like, okay, I feel like I'm vindicated. I made it through the forest and the trees and the fire, and it was like a total relief, and it happened right there on stage.
That's crazy, man. So you win all these battles, Luke, and you're undefeated, and you're fighting all these outside enemies, but in your own camp, they're working against you.
They're working against me.
And you end up with all the success you have. I mean, you discovered H-Town.
Yep.
Which was, Knocking the Boots was the biggest record at the time for Luke Records, right? Mm-hmm. You breaking all of this ground, and then some cat in your company bankrupts you.
Yeah, this one dude was exactly he then hooked up this guy, and I talk about it in the book. This guy Joe Weinberger. He ends up getting 3 creditors because I didn't know you could do that.
Right.
That's when I found out 2 Live Crew was kind of siding with him. They said all of a sudden we want a contract. They never had a contract before.
Right.
Then it was like, okay, well, we want a contract. And all right, no problem. If that's what you guys want to do. Then he then started negotiating the contract. He was the in-house attorney, the general counsel. I'm like, look like you negotiating for them. You sure you ain't their lawyer? You sure I don't need to get a lawyer? And so that kind of threw a red flag up. I was going through a case with one of the artists, MC Shy D.
Who was the first act you signed from?
Atlanta.
He was the first signed act
First signed act.
from Atlanta.
Exactly.
MC Shy D.
And so I'm going through all this, with him. And at the time, the lawyer, while the case was going on, my lawyer who was dealing with that case was like, yo, this guy here ain't giving me no information. Your general counsel ain't giving me no information to help me win this case, because it was cut and dry. The guy sold 25,000 records. Just go to the pressing plant and pull all the statements and just show it to the judge. So, they had that go, I'm too busy. Everything is going on. So then at the end of the day, once I'm looking at this contract, I'm like, him telling me this guy's not working in the best interest of the company, and then other people in the company telling me this, and all, when I look at this guy then start negotiating this contract, I was like, you got to go. Yeah. All these guys. And at the same time, even, there were times where H-Town would come and say, man, this guy ain't give us a statement. And I would have to go to the guy, well, fuck statement there for these guys here, and they would be complaining. It was crazy.
So, and he's supposed to be running your company.
Yeah.
And he's running it against you.
Him and the 2 Live Crew.
And what happens is eventually this whole thing that you created, you're the one that has to leave.
Well,
right? Or
not really.
How did that work out, man?
What happened is he then went and got 3 creditors, and they filed an involuntary bankruptcy. So they filed an involuntary bankruptcy. At the same time, I had all these lawsuits because of all these samples that I didn't get cleared. Then I had this MC Shy D lawsuit that I lost, and so I got that going on. Then I have these guys with, 2 Live Crew. They didn't do no suing because they got all their money, which everybody got all their money. So while I'm going through all this, he files this involuntary bankruptcy. So I'm going to these guys, well, what are you doing? I don't know what this is. So I got to get a bankruptcy lawyer. Then he explains to me what's an involuntary bankruptcy. I never heard of any of this. And so I went to these guys and they said, oh, this guy told us that you were not going to pay us. And so we then agreed to do this. All you need is 3 creditors to do that. And so while the lawsuits was coming in, I go get a bankruptcy lawyer. I actually sue this guy, take him to court, almost take his license, the Joe Weinberger guy. The judge found him, the judge was like livid. Right. He was like, yo, man, I ain't never seen no shit like this. Shit. This is, you a lawyer. You the worst thing in the world.
Did he get disbarred?
He was like getting ready to disbar him. So it was like, you're the worst thing in the world. You don't do this. You a lawyer. You a general counsel. How could you do this? So the judge went bananas on him. So that kind of, he ruled on it, and so it sat there. So now I'm dealing with all this, the bankruptcy, the involuntary bankruptcy that was filed. So I had the option of getting it dismissed, or I had the option of turning it into a Chapter 11. And so I'm like sitting there, I got all these cases, and then the judge said, not the judge, but the lawyer said, how you spell relief of all this? You could sit there and spend thousands of dollars fighting all these little cases, but what you could do is you could just do Chapter 11, reorganize, and at that same time, I had this deal, which I did my first deal with Relativity Records. That was my second deal. I want to get big. I'm selling H-Town. Right. I got Lorenzo. I got all this R&B shit popping off. I want to hook up with a Sony affiliate. Then at that time, they were with NWA, was doing good with Relativity. Right. And I said, man, if I could use this Sony system, get this big machine.
Get this shit off my back.
Get this shit out. Hey, look, I don't have to manufacture the records no more. So I'm just using common sense. Let's use this right here. Knowing the horror stories of record labels, but no, we're going to do a different kind of deal here. I got my lawyer, Paul Schindler, one of the best.
From Grubman.
Grubman and Dursky.
Yeah.
He
Grubman and Dursky
cut me the good deal and all that there. And so I end up going over there and we do the deal. And just like I say, while we got this deal going on, these guys are conspiring, in my opinion, together to cook up the books and all that. And so just like I said, I ended up, now I got this deal with Relativity. They ain't paying me. because they say, "Oh, you got this label. We getting these returns, but I'm selling." I'm like, "Yo, I just sold 1 million records at H-Town with y'all, a brand new album."
But technically, I guess because all of this, they weren't technically signed to you at the time. Is that what it was? You got this deal, and they wasn't signed to you.
No,
or?
everybody was signed.
Right.
Yeah. No, they were signed. They were signed because when I did H-Town had always been signed.
Okay.
2 Live Crew now negotiating a deal. But then I kind of, once I realized they were down with this dude. So now I'm selling records. I took my catalog, put it with Sony Relativity. Sony Relativity got the records. They selling it, and then now they're not paying me.
Because all of this other illegal stuff.
No, they're not paying me because what happened was the guy, Joe, told me, "Oh, the contract is already all right to be signed." Paul Schindler told me, "No, the contract is not all right to be signed." Because the issue was this little thing right here. Where is that on the barcode?
Barcode.
It was
you wanted to switch the barcode.
Yeah, we need to switch the barcode so they won't be taking returns.
Right.
They won't be taking returns from your previous distributors. Then they would have to account to you from those distributors, and whatever they sell because of the barcode, they'll sell their own. So they basically lied.
Right.
And said they were taking returns on product, and because this dude told me to sign the contract, I just went.
Because you knew that the main important thing was you had to have a different barcode.
Yeah.
You signed the contract thinking that the contract stated that it was a different barcode. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
And that fucked you.
And that fucked me up.
Right.
And so now I got this. So now that's when I really said, this guy got to go. And this guy trying to hijack my company. He's doing all this here backdoor stuff going on. And then at the end of the day, that's when he then once I realized that, fired him, then he went, got mad, got these guys to do the involuntary bankruptcy, then the involuntary bankruptcy. Then I ended up saying, okay, I'm finna get rid of all these people at one time. I'm going to just go ahead and turn the involuntary bankruptcy into a Chapter 11. And then I'm going to just reorganize, get rid of them people because they say, well, all this stuff goes in this one box and whatever money you make it tomorrow is your money.
It's your money.
I was like, shit, I could do that?
So you just walked away?
I just left all that right there, but I still owned it, everything.
Right.
So then now so I reorganized the company, and that's when I discovered, I'm like, yo, fuck it. I'm good at what I do.
Right.
And then through that process is when 2 Live Crew really jumped in the boat with this guy. And H-Town jumped in the boat with Sony. And
everybody jumped against you.
Everybody jumped against me. So at the end of the day, and one thing about it, God don't like no ugly. Them dudes went with them guys, and they could not sell a fucking record. They couldn't sell nothing. Zero. They were putting records out after records, and they ain't sell no. I said, yep.
But Luke, you still had them yappers in the car, man. What stopped you, man?
Huh?
What stopped you from just, because you said this was the maddest you had ever been when these cats snaked you out.
Yeah, it was like, you know what, I got into my mind. I don't know where I got it from. They said, look, by letting somebody live, they got to live with that. They got to see that every day. They want to steal your shit. They want to steal this here. They got to live with that.
Let them die slow.
Let them die slow. And every day they have to live with what they did and the things that they did. So don't put them out the miseries. Don't put your hands on them.
Right.
That's what they want.
Let their karma
Let the motherfucker live with it. So every day they see me, right now today, right now today, I mean, I'm doing this. They're sitting there looking, like gremlins. They're living in internal hell. And I truly believe they're living in internal hell.
I believe that too.
And by the things that they do, like if I put a record out, they'll try to put a record out right after me. And,
to try to catch that wave.
Exactly. So they're living fucked up right now.
Yeah.
And so, I'm okay with that. So just let them, because again, I mean, the part of me was like, yo, man, they're going to do these dudes. Just go ahead and erase them. And because I was on that before, and I said, no, I'm not going to revert back there. Leave them dudes right there and let them live with that life. And they started a record company. They were totally blackballed by the industry. Couldn't get a record played, couldn't get a video played because, again, all these guys who I built up this relationship with throughout the years and building this company, they knew me. And they know the struggles. They knew the story.
They knew you were solid.
Even if the story wasn't getting told.
Right.
You know, every record, you know, every radio station guy who told me I can't play a two live crew record, they know they couldn't play it. But then when it was time to play an H-Town record, they were like, you got something finally we could play.
Right.
You know, so they had love for me. They knew. So now when you steal that part of my catalog and these two live crew guys, they really gave it to them blood raw.
Yo, what's Suicide Weekend, man? What's the Suicide Weekend?
It's Sacrifice Weekend.
Sacrifice Weekend. What's the Sacrifice Weekend,
Oh
man?
man, that was
that
crazy.
sounds a lot better.
Yeah, he talking about
Suicide Weekend.
I'm sorry.
Motherfuckers
Bungee
ready to kill
jump.
themselves over the weekend. Let's go die this weekend.
Exactly.
What's the-
Bungee jump without a strap. Fuck it.
What's the Sacrifice Weekend, man?
Sacrifice Weekend? Man, you got to read the book.
Nah, I read the book.
Yeah, you want the real shit. Sacrifice Weekend, man, was crazy.
Yeah.
We just living like freshmen.
Right.
You know, we just wild and doing whatever. I got my big yacht. I got this 50-foot yacht I done bought called this Scandalous. You know, put on the bottom of it Liberty City so the cops won't bother with me because, you know, if you had
black man owning the yacht?
you had Kendall on the bottom of your boat.
Yeah.
You know,
Pull over.
Exactly. New Jersey, your ass getting pulled over. Y'all niggas stole his boat. You know, so it's like
This is Tommy's fucking boat.
Exactly. So I put Liberty City. Ain't nothing but black people live there. So if y'all see black people on the boat,
They supposed to be there.
don't bother with
Right.
me. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the police in the water, they want to stop everything and everybody.
Yep.
Man, we would have these parties on the boat and be like, yo, Sacrifice Weekend. And it was like, oh shit. You know, so it'd be girls, you know, all right, who want to be sacrificed? And the girls would be
Just
coming up.
doing the craziest
Man,
thing.
It became golden showers, you name it.
Damn.
God damn.
And
We
what's
just ain't had shit else to do.
and what's crazy, man, is you said at a certain point, man, it got tired too.
Yeah, I was like, this shit is
All that
ridiculous.
pussy, and at a certain point, it's like, how much pussy can I have, man?
Yeah, I mean, when I really was like, man, I'm done with this. Was the guy tried to get me in the porno business? You know, not doing the movies, but you know, use my name to promote the you know, show me all the numbers. Man, Vivid is making crazy money. This company making all this money. You know, all this. You know, it's like shit. You know, you the black Hugh Hefner. You know, you the fucking
Which
sex
technically
man.
you were.
Yeah, you fucking need to do videos. So then I went to a video set when they were shooting a porno, and I was like, this shit ain't right.
It
You know what I'm
didn't feel
saying?
right.
I look at pornos all day, but
Right.
I was like, no, this ain't right.
It's like in terms of your conscience, or
Yeah, my conscience was like, this ain't right.
right.
Especially the fuck on demand. You know, people think like pornos is cool. I went on a set before one time and just seeing what was going on was totally different.
It was totally different.
But it's funny that he asked you that because like I've been through like you've been through way more pussy than I've been through. But
Yeah,
like,
he's been through. Yeah,
that's
not
absolutely
even.
no. But the point I'm trying to make
Luke
is like
looking at you like
us people.
nigga.
No. But people asking you like, you ever get tired of pussy? Or you ever get tired of that wife? Some people may say, "Are you crazy to ask that?" But when I think about it, like I remember I had a threesome, and it was beautiful, and then I had a foursome, and it was even more beautiful. But then all of a sudden I realized that the way I was running my life, like at the end of the night, I was lonely. I know it may sound crazy,
Yeah.
but like that's when I knew, like, you know, maybe I got to ride with someone that really loves me. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like, and
And all through my crazy times, I was by myself. So I ain't give a fuck. You know, I'm living in this big ass house, 8,000
yourself.
square foot.
By yourself.
Yeah, by myself. You know, okay, everybody get out.
Right.
You know, I'm got all the wild parties and shit. You know, people you know, so at the end of the day, just like you say, you become by yourself. With all this money, I'm by myself. So I mean, there were always times I was like, God, you could take all this. Just give me a family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, like, and even with me, you know, throughout my years doing the shows, I was much more of an instigator.
Right.
I ain't really.
You were the ringleader. You weren't
I didn't screw a bunch of chicks.
Right.
I didn't, you know, I ain't got high and all that wild shit, smoke weed and all. You know, I give me some drinks, but I make sure everybody else was doing the wild stuff.
And it's crazy, man. Is it because you was the straight guy? Did you see things that you didn't want to become? Like how sex really, people get addicted to that shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, because, I mean, growing up in the streets, You know, when I'm out there, you know, where all the drugs being slinging and all that and all the banging and all that, and I'm looking at, you know, that's why, you know, living in Miami, that's why I never got involved into the drug part of it. Because, yeah, I'm out there selling it.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, I'm looking at dudes' body deteriorating. People
losing all their money and
call
breaking
them
up their families.
Junkies and zombies and shit. We laugh at them and all that. So it's like, I ain't never fucking with that. You know, so anything or too much of anything will turn you addictive and it'll eventually haunt you.
Right.
So in all my years, okay, I'm looking at this, and I first started out, yeah, I'm knocking the girls down. I'm just like, fuck it.
Everything.
I'm fucking everything. You know, my first couple of years, it was more like, fuck it. I just want to fuck 5 girls in one night, even if I just stick it in.
Let me hold the manufacturing until it's time to put it out on your chin.
I was like, you know what? And then
sisters,
everything, yeah,
twins,
yeah.
God damn it,
yeah.
Mother daughter?
no.
Mother daughter's the best, man. You got to fuck with the mother
Twins,
daughter.
yeah.
He don't got to do shit.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean no more.
Yeah.
But back then, if we go back, mother daughter's official.
Oh my God.
Like I never had twins before, but I had mother daughter.
Yeah,
Oh,
twins.
Jesus.
Mother daughter was beautiful, man.
Hey,
it was like,
hey.
The mother was like, "Hey, take you ain't sucking the dick right. Let me show you." And I'm like, "Yeah, mama." You know, it was. Listen, you already have an orgasm before you have an orgasm.
I almost had that one time with this one porno chick.
Yeah.
I was like, her mother was in the porno business. Like, nah, we ain't doing that. But yeah, once I got to the point there, I was like, you know what? I became real picky.
Right.
You know, about what I want to be with. So I ain't want to be what they thought I was.
Right.
So everybody was like, you fucking everybody. You know, so at my first couple years, yeah, I wilded out. It was like my freshman year.
Got it out your system.
Got it out of my system. I knew every day on the weekend I had to end up running the company.
Right.
So I couldn't be up in that party and wilding out every
early.
night. And I didn't want to be, I just wanted to be different, you know, than what people thought I was. So people would be like, oh yeah, y'all rappers, y'all knocking everybody down on that. No. And so then as my years went on, it became, you know, I would be dating girls and they'd be like, nah, I'm not messing with you. You too loud, I know what you're doing. And I'd be like, no, I'm not. Really, I'm not.
I like you. I got values.
You know, yeah, you really, you know, and then I always said to myself.
Did that haunt you, man?
It did, but I always said to myself, the first girl that don't believe that shit and get caught up in that image of the rapper, she's gonna get lucky.
She's gonna be the one.
She's gonna be the one. You know, who see past that and want me for me. You know, and so it was a good thing. It was like, oh yeah, well, you know, I'm dating, so I started dating like everybody else. You know, but
how was that dating scene for you, man?
It was. I mean, shoot,
I'm sure you met some crazies.
Oh yeah, the baby mama thing. That was the worst for me.
Right.
You know, because you know I come from a household with a mom and a dad, and I'm always taught to respect women and all that. So when I was dating these girls outside of my first child, the second one, and the next one, it was like, you know, hey, treat women with respect. You know, this and that. So I'm talking to them. You know, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, you're a good girl. Oh, yeah, I'm going to take the birth control and all these different things.
Man.
So I'm treating them with respect and believing them and trusting them.
But they trying to set you up. They set you up. They set you up like crazy. Right.
I was getting set up. I got set up one time where you know, the woman who had my 2 kids, I'm like, yo, this girl ended up squatting at my house. I had to take and get her thrown out. And she called the cops and say I put a gun on her, so I was going to kill her and all that, because, you know, hear my criminal record.
Right, of course.
Of my history saying, yeah, this nigga is a killer.
Yeah.
You know, he's fucked up. So they put it on my record. Yeah, you did say that. No. Okay, you know, so I had to go through a whole lot of that.
But happily, like, you've been happily married now.
Yeah,
for 7 years?
7 years.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations, man.
That's
my
impressive.
wife saw through all that.
Yeah.
She was like, man, that ain't sweating all that.
Now, Luke, man, it's amazing, man, like at this point in your career, man, the things that are important to you, you know, the politics and going back to Liberty City and you know, being involved in like the youth league, like the was it the Optimist Club?
Yeah, I started, and that's what I talk about that in the book.
Yes.
A lot of people think, a lot of firsts. This book is like the first. Making people aware of a lot of things. Like, the average person thinks Snoop Dogg was the first guy to start a youth football team and all that in the league. We did 25. This year we'll be celebrating our 25th year.
Congratulations.
I did two things. My first check, I said, first check, I'm going to buy my mama a house.
What you did.
Second check, I'm going to start my youth program. And I started that thing those years ago. And then I started looking out for myself. But, it was all about, doing that. And I always said when my career kind of died down, I'm going to go back out there and start coaching. So it died down and I went back out and started coaching. And I went and won a Pop Warner National Championship.
Congratulations.
I went to a championship, went back the next year, won the championship. And then, I became this fucking guru of coaching.
You became Coach
Luke
Luke as opposed to Uncle Luke.
Exactly.
Defensive guru.
Yeah, I'm out beating people, and then before you know it, I ended up, that became too easy because it looked like I was cheating.
Right.
And because our kids were so much developed, more so than any other set of kids. And before you know it, I said, okay, let me go to another level. I went to high school, and a group of kids that I was coaching, I went with them to high school, put them in a school, and we won the first state championship for them. We won the first state championship for the school. Never won a championship in 50 years.
Wow,
then
50.
Damn. Yeah. Then I said, well, I got to get these kids in college. So I took the ideal, and I talk about it in the book, I took the whole ideal that when I went to D.C., like we started off talking, and my eyes
that changed your life.
Changed my life. I say, how can I, because you tell the kids, do the right thing in class, do this, do that, do that. What can I do to change their
That could
life?
only go so far.
Exactly. So I started taking them every summer, taking them to college camps. They got these college camps. They can go on the campus. They can see other football players. They can train with the coaches and all that. And I started taking them to these camps. Then I'm looking at their eyes just open up.
Their worlds.
Yeah, so it's like the same feeling I got, the same feeling they got. And that brought their rising. And when they went back home, I ain't had to tell them to get their grades.
Right.
They knew exactly
you gave them a taste.
where they wanted to go at and how they want to get there. And we did not have to tell them, this is what you got to do. It was like, what do I do? I need to get their coach. And so that became my thing. I'm the coach, with my homeboy, Coach Lockett. He's now he's coaching at Oregon State. We just getting kids after kids, the whole senior class going to college. These things were never existed in Miami.
Uncle Luke would be a dope coach. I can only imagine some of these people asking for you to get them laid and shit,
Yeah, no, they don't ask that.
It's funny because
this whole week. I mean, the first year in 7 years that I missed the first week of spring of fall practice.
Okay,
so
promo.
We started up the other day.
It's crazy, man, how much you have to fight, and even at this point, you talk about how this is the happiest you've ever been.
Yeah.
Really, this is the happiest.
Oh yeah.
You're doing what you love, no pressure, no fighting. You had to fight. Like they tried to say you were unfit to coach these kids.
Yeah.
And you had to beat that.
That was my last fight. That's
Right.
why people say, "Why you didn't do a book back then?" Well, when I had to go through that, and that went on for about 3 years, I was like, "This is definitely a chapter in the book."
Was that the toughest one? Which was the toughest fight you went through, man?
The toughest fight was the Roy Orbison. Because
the
it was
Supreme
just,
Court.
one day you win,
Right.
Next day you lose,
Right.
Next day you win. Now you got to go up here in the political capital of the world.
Right.
But that fight again, because now we're doing these things with these kids, and I'm like, I really got to fight for these kids, because if I don't do it, these other coaches around here ain't taking the opportunity, the time to then give back and put into these kids. And the good part about that, that came out of that first group that I coach, and my program had been going on
25 years.
Yeah, you got Chad Johnson came out of my program, Antonio Bryant. You got tons of kids. Now, when I go back there, the first group Now, they just finished, the group that I coach, myself, finished college last year.
Wow.
The year before. So now you got the running back for the San Francisco, not the running back for Atlanta Falcons, Devontae Freeman.
Right.
He was the running back on the team.
Right.
He was actually the quarterback on the team. And he'll probably end up being the starting running back this year for the Falcons. Last year was his rookie year. He went out early. Then now you have the running back at the Cleveland Browns, Duke Johnson. Then you got Charles Gain. Then you have Darrell Estridge, another one of my kids, who on that same team, who's playing at the Jets now.
Wow.
And so, that whole group of kids, they got it. And they got educations out of it. Finish early.
That's got to be better than money, man.
That's better than money.
That's got to be better than sex.
Yeah.
Hey,
Better than money.
Yeah.
Not the sex.
There you go, Lou.
Luke,
Yeah,
man,
the sex is beautiful.
Yo, man, you're such an inspiration, man. Is there anything you would have done different?
Anything I'd have done different, I'd have just, I guess, I would have probably picked the right women to have kids with, because I feel so bad for my kids because, a lot of my, kids, because they caught up in that.
They get caught up in
that baby mama drama,
Right.
and they did not have the opportunity to have their dad in their life, even though I wanted to be in their life, and the mothers dangling them around like pawns in the game,
like weapons.
Yeah, and I just hate that for them, because that shouldn't be with no kid. No kid should be used like that and not be able to have both their mom and their dad in their life,
Right.
whatever the circumstances is. So, and I hold myself responsible for that,
of course.
not the mother, because I should have been more responsible,
More careful.
and more careful before bringing them into this world, into that kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah, those moments sometimes are tough to, decide what happens. But I mean, how old are your kids?
I got them. They go from 26 to 24, all the way to 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a divorced father. I mean, I go through the baby mama stuff, but the difference between me and you is, obviously a lot of these women were dangling because of that money.
They wanted their money.
But I will say this, when a kid gets older, they get a chance to really see that for themselves.
I thought that, but that's not
That didn't
necessarily
happen
the
either.
case.
So
No.
then that mother was good then.
Yeah.
Well, not good, but good.
Yeah, I thought, and that's what I always said. I'm praying to the man upstairs. When they get older, they'll know better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They'll know. And I would, at a certain point in time, it got so bad when it was 17, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to let y'all see the check right here?
Yeah.
Because they were being told that I wasn't taking care of them, and all. No, mama, ain't no deadbeat. See the check right here? Matter of fact, go get the check, I'll sign it, and you give it to your mom. So I had to got that deep with, so that's training them to know that, no, my dad takes care of me,
Right.
and all that. So when they got older, it seemed like it got worse.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it got worse.
That's got to be the tough one. But I will say this: whatever it takes, and I know you know your kids better than me, but I live by this whole thing. I've seen older people, women, even my lady now. I know that she struggles with her relationship with her father, and I know that it's never too late really to sit down and talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I really believe in this. We say this all the time here, but there's presence over presence. Sometimes a lot of people, money sometimes gets in the way.
Yeah.
And but really all they needed was us. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's never too late, man. Sit down and talk.
Like
to
I
them.
got one of my kids. She was astray like that, and me and her best friends right now.
That's amazing, man.
That's my girl, and hopefully the other 3 will come around.
Listen, no, you don't miss the music industry, man?
I do.
Yeah.
I miss it from the standpoint, I'm still in the industry technically, because I got a whole bunch of my catalog that
Of course.
that I still
That doesn't go away.
sell.
Right.
I sell that, I do a bunch of stuff, commercials, license deals with a large portion of my catalog and everything. So I'm technically in it, but not in it from the standpoint of developing.
Breaking acts.
Yeah, my last act I discovered and developed and broke was Pitbull.
And look at him now.
Yeah, and I'm proud
Look
of him.
at Pitbull
my
right now,
son.
man.
That's my little Chico son.
And you
Yeah.
talked about how raw he was.
Yeah.
Braids in his hair and just like
Yeah, that was a street dude. for
street
real.
dude. Look at him right now,
Yeah,
man.
and that's why I tell people all the time, man. The dudes who talking that hard shit didn't live that life. The guys who talking about partying and having fun.
Those the ones.
Them the ones you better watch out for.
Yeah, watch out for Pitbull,
Yeah,
right?
that dude there.
Don't sleep on Pitbull.
That dude there, I went in a strip club one day and dudes was, some Chico dudes talking shit, man. Fucking Pitbull, corny this, corny that. I'm like, yo, bro.
He will eat your food.
That man will he will beat you and then he will kill you lyrically. He was a battle rapper.
Yes.
I mean, one of the most feared
I hear that, yes.
around there. Like he would break you down for the lowest terms, and the stuff I took him through, and I talk about in the book, the stuff I took him through was hardcore.
Yep. Well,
the average person couldn't go through it.
Luke, listen, man, this has been such an honor. Internets, I really, really love this book, man. How do you feel about this book? Like, how is the creative process, man?
Let me tell you, I've always felt like I was the Rodney Dangerfield of the music industry. I never got credit or props for anything.
I get no respect.
I never got no respect.
Yeah.
None. And so this book this book relieves me of that. Because before I was sitting there waiting for the Grammys to knock on my door one day and say, we're going to give you a Lifetime Achievement Award. I was waiting on BET. We're going to give you a Lifetime Achievement Award. I was waiting on MTV. I was waiting on
VH1, the hip hop, all of that.
People to say, listen,
the tastemakers.
Yeah, listen. This is what this dude set, for. And then I was like, okay, well, you know what? They're gonna do that shit when I'm dead, like they do everybody else. Then they're gonna give them their respect. I'm like, no,
can't wait.
We're not doing that. I say, I got to do this book while God got me here. I'm gonna do this book and I'll tell the story that nobody wants to tell. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to crown everybody else. I'm gonna tell who started hip hop in the South.
And you're not afraid of naming names in the book, which I really like.
No,
I really like the fact that
it's some names they told me, the lawyers for HarperCollins was like, no, you can't say their name. You can't say this name and say that name. I'm like, fuck them. You know what I'm saying?
Let them sue me. Like,
they were like, no, you can get sued right here. So I had no problem with that. And because again, these guys don't like me. The Stephen Hills and all them other world, they don't like me.
And they never will. And no matter what you do.
They never will. So, so if it'll be a cold day in hell before they honor me, for the things that I've done for this music business and the achievement, even having a youth program and saving lives. They wouldn't, you don't know. I put, $500 million worth of kids in school every day, opening up $6.5 million youth centers. This is what I do on a daily basis. They know this.
Right.
They ain't blind to this. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm like, Luke, you're gonna have to do a book. So when I did this book, I say, this book, they ain't gotta say shit to me.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like the world now could get the real story. The world could now find out who started guerrilla marketing. It wasn't Steve Rifkin, they crowned him. Who started hip hop, who created the parental advisory sticker, who did the things to allow Lil Wayne to be able to cuss and all this on the record and all these parodies, and who
opened up the South,
who opened up
opened up the strip clubs,
who changed the whole game of the music industry. You know what I'm saying? So you get to read this in the book, and now it all comes together. Like I say, every one of these young hip hop artists right now today, they need to be the first one to go get the book.
Yep.
Especially the ones in the South.
Yep.
Because they can then get a clear understanding of the business and how ruthless it is, and use it as an educational tool.
You called it, man. You called the South years ago.
You remember that New Music Seminar?
The New Music
Who
Seminar.
was it? Hank Shockley?
Hank Shockley was like, yo, what happened? This is the last thing we're going to talk about. What happened? What was they saying, man?
Yeah, I was at the New Music Seminar, and they had this hip-hop panel, and it was like 1,000 people in there. Did I put this in the book?
It's in the book.
Yeah, I put it in the book. It was 1,000 people, and they were sitting there, and that shit is a fad.
Hank Shockley said the Southern music is a fad, and it's going to go away.
And it's going to go away.
And then what'd you do?
And I was sitting there, because I'm just there, vibing. I'm trying to learn stuff. I'm going to different panels to learn stuff. And when Buddy said that, I was like, You know, I got that twitching in the urge. And I'm like, should I just let this shit ride? And I'm like, yo, fuck that. Yo, hold on. This is Uncle Luke. This is Luther Campbell. That's bullshit. I just sold 500,000 records. You think this shit is fad? The South will rule all of hip-hop.
Mark my words.
Mark my words.
2015.
Because we are bigger than everything else.
Mm-hmm.
We are bigger than LA and we're bigger than New York. Because we have North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta. You know, we have this and we got the Southwest. I say it ain't nothing that I'm saying, but I'm just saying
The facts.
the facts that when you break down the map, it's bigger.
It's bigger.
So we're going to eventually rule the whole shit.
That's crazy, man.
And Buddy was like, oh, that's bullshit.
You ever
Yeah.
call him up on that, man?
No.
You should, man.
Well, he'll read the book.
Yeah, definitely.
His kids will get it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure his kids be like, damn, Dad, you said you fuck with Uncle Luke. Are you serious?
Yo, Luke, man, I could keep you here forever, man. Internets, the book is The Book of Luke, My Fight for Truth, Justice, and Liberty City. It's an amazing read. I've read a lot of celebrity books. I got to say, this is probably the best one that's written. Uncle Luke, I got to thank you for all your contributions and even opening up my eyes. I was one of them cats from New York that was like, fuck them. Fuck the 2 Live Crew. That's not real hip hop. But you know, as you get older, you know, I look back and I look at cats like you or another cat that we hated on was Hammer.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, Hammer's such a
You
legend.
you read the part about him?
Yeah, Hammer's such a legend to me right now.
Yeah.
You're such a legend to me, man. And you know, to even go against the grain of what's the popular opinion, man, takes so much courage, man. So I appreciate you. Last question. Looking back at the swag back in the day, the Miami starter jacket, the green and the orange, and then you switched it up to the Georgetown, right? Which one?
AI. When AI tore up that fucking bowling alley, I was like, that's my nigga.
Which one would you wear today, man?
Miami.
Miami.
No question
Good
about
answer.
it.
Hurricane.
Yeah, I'm Hurricane. I'm down. Yeah, Kane for life.
Well, Uncle Luke, man, I thank you again, man. Anytime, anything you want to sell, come back to the Combat Jack Show, and I wish you the most success. We're going to do our best to make this a bestseller, New York Times bestseller. The best to you, my dude.
Hey, man, I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for having me. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Pete.
Man, I wish I was just here for more of this.
Yeah.
But, you know, your story is legendary. And like, I definitely appreciate all the contributions. But more so, I always believed in 2 Live Crew because they were like, just from that, they were like the party.
You liked them back in the day?
Of course, they were the party igniters.
It was the white boy in you.
It was. First of
It
all,
was
I'm
a white boy.
Italian.
Yeah, but
I never hung out with no fucking people like that. Okay, yo, for real though.
Let's get some pussy.
Yeah, of course, girls would get up and yo, you would ignite it. Your soundtrack, your contribution was the igniter of getting pussy back then.
That's right. All
And
you
I'll
had to
tell
do
you
is
one
put the
thing.
record on.
I did get some pussy off of Doodoo Brown.
Face down, ass
See?
up.
I did get some pussy off of Doodoo Brown.
You didn't know. Y'all was getting lap dances. Because it used to be funny to me when I would come to New York and LA
You can't
and
touch
watch
the- you
people
can't touch the
dancing
girls.
off of Doodoo Brown. Then the girls, they played at the end of the night. The girls bend over and the guys stand up behind the girls. It is like they trying to hold on to a wild animal.
Beautiful thing. I'll tell you one thing. If you could merchandise a car freshener to scent pussy, what would it smell like?
Oh, man. Oh, I guess.
Mangoes and oatmeal? I don't know. That's a weird
That's
ass
a good
que-
one.
That's a weird
That's
ass.
not a weird question because think about it, man.
Won't you create a scratch
We
off?
should, yeah, that'd be nice.
Y'all need to collaborate, man.
That'd be
get you a
nice.
scratch
Think
off.
about it, like hanging from a car fresh. What scent you have? Not vanilla aroma, not leather,
New car.
not pine, not new car scent. Pussy.
Oh no, your car smell like pussy. Well, just I guess no, bad pussy smell like fish.
Bad pussies, yeah, like a bad fish.
Yeah,
Fresh fish, sushi. I'd have to smell like sushi with a little ginger in it.
Yeah.
Yo, we going on a tangent, man. Uncle
Yeah.
Luke, man, thank you. Internets, you know what it is, man. Live those dreams, dream those dreams, and then man up and live those dreams. Because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound.
Blah.
my man.
Attention, 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 please. This is a public service announcement. The weekly drop will now be a Combat Jack Show app exclusive. Make sure you download the Combat Jack Show app on iTunes, Google, you know what I mean? And you get that weekly drop. Now we got a special treat for you guys. The new segment called Premium Pete's Rant of the Week.
Into motherfucking nets. This is
Premium Pete's Rant of the Week. And this rant of the week, or this week of the rant, or this whatever the fuck, and Jonathan, I'm going to have to edit that. This rant of the week is, you know what it is? It's time, my friends. It's cuffing season time. So I'm telling you right now, you get off that little fucking couple of loads you got left, okay? You bang your cousin, you bang your sister's friend, you bring your wife's friend, okay? You bring your next door neighbor. Oh my God, the next door neighbor is so beautiful because all you gotta do is like walk the dog, and next thing you know, you fucking slide up in the house like a daily newspaper. Listen to me, okay, internets? I'm telling you right now. This is the start of cuffing season. So like I said, get out your fucks out the way and don't be a fucking pussy, okay? And get ready for winter. Get ready to binge on Seinfeld episodes and Martin, okay? Get ready to lay up in the house and eat fucking bonbons, okay? Get up and wife a good lady and hang out with her and cook some fucking tilapia and fucking broccoli and fried rice. Listen, let me explain something to you. My man King is thinking about entering cuffing season. The whole summer, he's been waiting to nail a bitch real hard, okay? I'll be honest with you, I really feel bad for the next person that A. King has sex with because he's going to knock him through the fucking, like they're going to literally go right through the sheetrock in the room. But for now, I will say this, don't be like King because he wants to stay out here and he wants to just, let me explain something to you. What is life if you're not going to share it with someone you care about, okay? Cuffing season is upon us. Hallmark, reach out to me, okay? If you love somebody, if you care about somebody, cuff them up. Get ready for Christmas. Get ready for Thanksgiving. Get ready for Halloween. And stay with that special someone. Go to the movies. They got these movies in Jersey now that have the reclining seats. They're fucking beautiful, okay? I put one hand on my lady. I hold the hand. The other hand I put in my pants, okay? I get the popcorn. I rip out the bottom of my popcorn. I put my dick in there, okay? And I say, listen, if you want me to butter your fucking popcorn, anytime, I do that for you. Get fucking Juju Beans. Get Snow Caps. Get Sour Patch Kids. Get whatever the fuck you want. But cuffing season is more than that. In the winter, think about it, King. Let me explain. You have snowball fights. You throw each other in the snow. Not the yellow snow. You go to the movies, right? Think about it. Hear me out. You go out to eat. Cuffing season is upon us, internets. That means, like I told you before, once again, you get all the jism out of your fucking penis, and all the girls, you get all the fuck shit you want. Don't go, let me tell you something. Don't be with someone if you're going to fucking fuck around on them, okay? If you're going to fuck around, stay single. If you're going to be with someone, then like I said, get ready for the movies, the popcorn, the cooking, and everything, okay? Internets, this is my rant of the week. Cuffing season is upon us. Find someone you love and cuff that bitch up. Don't fuck that bitch up. Cheer.
This episode of the Combat Jack Show was produced by Jonathan Mena, executive produced by A. King and Chris Morrow, engineered by Samir Karan, and recorded in the Engine Room Audio Studio in downtown Manhattan. This is an official Loudspeakers Networks production.